the wrong one.
Good evening and welcome to the Sunday Night Takeaway, episode 30. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. And we're looking forward to this one. I mean, obviously, maybe Fuzzy that has, but me and the other Anthony, we're doing pretty fine at the moment. And obviously, there'll be some others joining us as we go along. Hopefully, everyone, like I said, has had a good weekend. And I will ask my two, as usual, my co-hosts on a Wednesday night, Anthony and Hot Fuzz. So, Fuzzy, we'll start off for you. How was your weekend?
Spent at the bottom of one of these, basically. Long story short, but I'm running with this tagline now. Anything to discussing about Man United, the managers, whatever, and specifically the manager. It's year 3. Is the tagline. I'm just sticking on the end of everything whenever I talk about Ten Hag. Because it's second game of the season, and we're back to making the mistakes he was making in his first season. So he's big opportunity he's had with his contract extension to show progression, to show a bit of change, a bit of forward, moving forwards, actually advancing. But the one thing he hasn't shown is lack of progression. He's still stuck in the same mold.
No good. Before I say hello to Anthony, I'm just going to bring into the panel. Good evening, Jez. How are we keeping, mate?
Sorry, I'm late, mate. Sorry, overran.
Not a problem at all. Good show early on as well. Just kind of saying hello to you and the panel first of all. And that's start with Anthony. Sorry, I said Hot Fuzz. Anthony, how's your weekend been so far? And
big up, Jez. Thanks for coming on. It's been good. Good weekend. Arsenal win. I went and watched a charity game today. Football players versus rugby players. I'm proud to say that the football players won. I mean, it was all competitions, diving going in. It was all fun because it was all made of in charity. And also, I got to meet a certain Harry Redknapp.
So, you did, didn't you?
Thumbs up to that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't get him a video. He did call you a prick thing. But in all fairness, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice meeting him. So lovely guy. Just had a picture taken with him. My missus took the picture, not on my phone, on her thing, and we had a little chat as well, only for about 2 minutes, something like that, because there was lots of people there and lots of people wanted to meet him and chat to him as well. So, but yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, good stuff from there. And Jess, how about yourself, mate? You had a good weekend?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just sharing this for you.
No worries.
While
you're doing that, I'll just say hello to the people in the chat as always while you're doing all that. Evening, Steve. Evening, panel on the chatters. How long was I about Kilman? Absolute beast of a match of the day performance. Absolutely. That's 2 games now. He's been superb, old Kilman. So money well spent in that respects. And evening, Matt. Stephen looking on chat. They're all saying like each other. Matt saying Kilman could be the sign of the window. Yeah, it's not bad at all. The way he glided from defence and found Bowen was classy. Yeah, that was a good pass for that opening goal. If Tadibo is as good as Kilman, we'll have 3 decent centre-halves, which makes a change. 4, if you include a good as well. Some might say 41-esque. Oof, that's a big shirt. Oh, indeed.
Right, sorry about that.
No worries, Jess. How are you yourself in that? Hello to Henry as well. How you been weekend? How's your weekend been, Jez?
Well, yeah, that was a great day today. Went out boat fishing for the first time in 5-6 years. Today, mate of mine, he's retired, and he's bought a fishing boat. So he said, "Do you fancy going out for the day?" I went, "Oh, I haven't done that for a long, long time." So we went out offshore and caught mackerel on the way out for bait.
Oh, nice.
You think? And we caught some beautiful mackerel, I have to say. And I'm having one later for my tea. I won't lie. And then we went out 20 odd miles, I think we went, fished over a wreck from the Second World War. And, mate, we were catching so many fish. A lot of them we threw back. They were too small. But some of them, mate, were proper banging fish. Seriously, pollock and all that sort of stuff, some flatties. But it got to the point in the end, we'd been out there 6 hours, I suppose. We actually said, we've just got anything we catch put back now. We we can't keep this many fish, So yeah, it's a great day out, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Brilliant.
I had some nice. What's my mate caught? He caught some what do you call squid? He cleaned them and cooked them on the boat, and wow, that was lovely.
Oh, nice. That's bear with me. I've just got to send.
No, Joe, my cats are not having no fish. No. They're not having them.
Big up to Lone Star as well.
Offshore themselves to get their own fish.
Yeah.
This lot is later than Aubameyang. Yeah, sorry, Lone Star. We were just doing a few things. Who's stuck in the lab? It was Anthony, as always. We're sorry about that, Steve.
At least he made it this week. Last week,
Oh, yeah, the Wi-Fi was playing up. I couldn't get on last week, could I?
Yes, that's true. Big up, Paddy. Everybody will be blind bubbles tonight, I expect. We're kind of ambiguous when it comes to things like that, Paddy. We don't like to celebrate too much. We don't rub it in the people's faces. Yes, as Steve says. I hope the ball boys are okay after the incident on Saturday. Yeah, apparently he is, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Decent for Suchek and Bowen to help the lad out. And, Bowen giving me shirt after the game as well, so that was decent. So, by all accounts, nothing serious, which is good. Big up, Lenny. Hope you're keeping well. Big up to the brothers, as he's saying there. And also, big up, Early Doors. Got in the chat. The Goat Saves Football. Big up to yourself. And just going to bring on Matt when he gets himself in.
Hello.
Good evening, Matt. How are we? Big up to yourself. Good to see you in here. First time.
Yeah, not bad, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No problem at all in that. We will talk about your game shortly. Just going to catch up with the chat first of all, because obviously there's one contentious part in that game. I think you know which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
We will come into that.
Yes.
And the Goat's live on tonight as well. Good to see that. Good evening, Barry. Evening, lads. Hope you're good. We are indeed, mate. And obviously you could pick up to our friend Ravi. Big up the lads with another big slice of takeaway. Absolutely. Big up to E. Ross. Hope you will. And also to Joan as well. And big up to Steve. Evening, all. Evening, Steve. Hope you're keeping well, matey. I'm doing the Empoli Roma game. Good luck with that one as well. Liked and shared. Thank you, Joanne. And as always, the hostess with the mostest, the biggest mod on the YouTube world, Mama Flossie. Evening, Mama. Hope you're well. Big up to Michael Chelsea as well. Big up Early Doors on the panel and everyone in the chat. And they were playing like each other. Yeah, he was saying, Anthony, Eddie Nketiah is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I know.
Taken down with cement bags. We might have just thrown him in the lake. It'd be easier. He's not. I know.
But there's good news. There is good news.
Is that?
I believe Crystal Palace has come in for a bid for him. So they put another bid in for Eddie Nketiah at Crystal Palace. So that's the latest that I've been told.
Yeah, but right? They'll offer 5 million under what Arsenal want, and Arsenal will hold out for what they want, and we won't sell him. I just had this debate on my channel with Dow, and I said, look, if we want to get rid of him, right, let him go, because Marseille we wanted 30 mil, they offered 27. Yeah. Nottingham Forest wanted him, and we've cocked that one up. They're now going for the final player. Yeah. So don't be at all surprised, Anthony, right? When it comes in 5 days' time, that window shuts in 5 days' time, right? He's still here. He's still going to be.
He could be, He could be. Nelson as well. He's on this. I mean, I put it in your chat, Joe. I mean, if we actually got rid of Reece Nelson, Ed Nketiah, let's say a certain Jorginho. right? That's 55 million in total, and 320 grand a week wages off the bill.
Just to let Ravi know, I'm starring your questions at the moment, but I will be coming back to them. And just going to bring in this man as well. Great show I did with him and his partner in crime on a Wednesday. Big up to Budgie as well.
Oh,
Evening,
buddy.
Budgie.
Good evening, everyone.
So before we go into you, Budge, I want to ask Matt the question because obviously it was, and this is all to the panel and to the chat as well. The Bournemouth-Newcastle game. Extra time, ball gets delivered at the box, great header into the box, and then before you know it, VAR comes in and the goal gets ruled out. Now, the biggest question here, and I don't know if any of you saw the game, do you class this as being handball, or handball? Matt, you was at the game, so
Yeah.
what was your take?
Yeah.
Where was you actually in the ground? Was you right next to the ball?
I was quite away from it, to be fair. And I've not had a chance to have a second look at it yet because I've not long been back from getting back from the stadium. But yeah, it looks like to me it was up here, and I would say we were pretty much robbed, to be honest.
I mean, people on the panel, did you see the game?
No.
I saw. I saw the game. Large chunks of the game because I was sort of switching over between that game and the F1. God only knows why the Chelsea game weren't televised. It's like a B channel or something because that was a bit of a banger of a game. But yeah, it was a really, really bad decision, I thought, because it's an awkward one when he's jumping in to head of the ball. Maybe he's slightly like misdirected a little bit where the ball doesn't really come to make contact with the head and it's going to come off this part of the body. But where the ball hits off the body is probably smack bang in the middle of the sleeve cut, which is not really even all too close to where the shirt line is or the sleeve line for the shirt is. So, I mean, people with shoulder controls usually do that sort of thing when the ball's in open play, but referees don't stop it for that. They're just like, yeah, that's fine. But then it gets ruled out for a goal here. I'm wondering if it's one of those where people will put it down to it's subjective. But for me, I think that was a goal that not only that, but also it didn't really help with the Newcastle player. Was almost had his hands on the Bournemouth player's arm anyway, so it's not like he could sort of do much else with movement in that moment in time. So yeah, I thought it was a winner, perfectly legit winner, completely ruled out.
Trouble is, in the law of the game, if you actually go by the true laws of the game,
Big up, Nick.
Right, there to there is interference in the strict letter of the law. That's interference, and I think it's a bullshit rule, personally, but that is deemed as handball.
Yeah, it's wrong, Jez. I caught the second half of it, and funny enough, me and Fuzzy, we were messaging one another about the game. And I got to be honest with you, I was always led to believe from your shoulder down to your elbow was an handball, but anything from your elbow to your hand is but could be classified as handball.
Didn't you?
So it's a rubbish rule. I'll be honest with you. I agree with I agree with what Matt said with Bournemouth. I feel sorry for them, and I think they were robbed. Matt, I'm going to be honest with you. My mate, Craig, all right, he's going to be livid, Craig. I know what Craig's like. You know, he's going to be absolutely livid. And I'm expecting him to come out and do he'd obviously do some show about it.
His video's already been done. It was literally out within 20 minutes of the game finishing. His 10-minute rant is worth having a look at, definitely.
Is it? Yeah.
Does Craig?
You give him a big up from me. He's a good guy. And
Yeah,
tell
good
him
guy.
he's absolutely shit at quizzes. I'm sorry, but he's absolutely terrible. The only thing he was proud of on the Christmas quiz last year on the Christmas quiz, he found out the postcode of the North Pole apparently, and he was so excited about it. But you know what he's like. He's a lovely guy, but rabbits on a bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
He does.
Big up, Dale.
Something else I've got just to pick at this a little bit. VAR's just like, yes, we rule the day once again by overruling a winning goal. Was it not like a 60 seconds later or something after the play was resumed? Joe Linton turns into a WWE superstar.
Yeah.
Clothesline on the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That was
in possession with the ball in his hands. He's just like, yeah, I guess stitch this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And just does
Yeah.
that. Floors
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah.
VAR.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What was that?
I didn't give anything.
Oh, look, Netto's on the floor.
No,
now.
not just a yellow card, Budgie.
Anything.
Just a yellow card. But Joe Linton
That was a
literally,
referee, though. That was a referee.
as
It was on-field
Fuzzy just
decision.
said there, he literally his arm was around the neck, and he would have done William WWE. I mean, the crowd would have gone wild. But yeah, just a yellow card.
John Layfield Bradshaw would be well pleased with that.
Yeah. Well, there
I
was
think
two
what
players
Chelsea
in our
fans
team
do,
that collided against Villa. Two Villa players collided in yesterday's game, and one of them looked up to the referee to see if he was going to award anything. He's like, "Hang on, mate, you just collided with your own player."
It's like Luis Suarez when he cried for a handball when the goalkeeper picked up the ball in his own box. It's like handball. Oh wait, no, it's a goalkeeper. Shit, I can't do that. No.
Our last host that's come in, and that Budgie, how is your good self? Did
I'm
you go to
very
the
well,
game?
thank you. No, I didn't go. I'm prepping to go to Turkey on Tuesday, so
Oh, nice.
saving a few pennies,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you make of the game?
I enjoyed it. I thought the first 45 minutes was cagey on both parts. I felt that Palace had the measure of us for most of it. But then I think the changing point was bringing on Wan-Bissaka and Tadibo, wasn't it? I think he brought them together.
Yeah.
I think that was the changing point of the whole match. Wan-Bissaka clearly created our first goal. And, I just felt that once he'd come on, I think there was a little bit of a feel-good factor in amongst the team, including in him. Even though I thought facially he didn't look very happy, his play didn't show that. So, I think it kind of made the game a little more easier to swallow,
Yeah.
The win obviously was very nice, but I don't think the earlier performance was very good.
No, it's true. As I say, a game of two halves, and it definitely was that. I think for us to get a result there at Palace at the Selhurst Park, and we're full well, it's always been our bogey side, and to come away with 2-0 clean sheet, I'll take that all day long. Basically, even a draw would be great. And the players, as you said, I mean, the only one surprise really more than anything else, not seeing him actually come on, was Somerville.
Yeah.
But at least the other players.
I think the way he's using Kudos is kind of he's using him as like a left winger, but he's also given him a free role in the middle as well, which is really nice. But like you say, it kind of puts Somerville's nose out of joint because he's not getting a start or any minutes,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Which is probably very tough for the player of the championship last season, and he was voted that by all the plaudits, all the pundits, and all the press and everything. He was voted the player of the championship last season, and he's not even really getting a look in but you know, he has stepped up a level, hasn't he? Really, you know.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Yeah,
suppose
so
he's
I mean,
got to
hopefully,
buy
you
this
know,
one.
we can't moan. It's only 2 games in. I think there's obviously a lot more to come from this side, which is
Yeah.
which is great to see.
I mean, we might see him midweek.
I think so. I think that's what it'll be. That, won't it? Wednesday's game.
Yeah.
We're going to see more
I think
there.
Who's it we've got? Huddersfield?
Is it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's Bournemouth. So
Why
we
did
might
I
see him
think
there.
Huddersfield?
And it's no coincidence that Matt's here because of that game at all. And that it's to do with today's game more than anything else. But it's all about. Just want to say good evening to the Long Edge Yetis Cave as always, and also to the wonderful and delectable Gracie May. Hope you're keeping well, Gracie. Hope that leg is on the mend. As we know, it's taking a while to heal for you.
Yeah, Gracie.
Yeah, Gracie.
I thought you said Queen of the Loop. Oh dear me.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, thanks for the Cheswood televised on Sky Sports today. The F1 today, great results for Ferrari, considering we were nowhere in qualifying. I mean, what was quite interesting, just seeing about the Nketiah situation. Obviously, you know, again, it's another player that's not kind of getting over the line for some reason. And obviously, Forest, the deal can't be done. And now they're going for Santiago Guimarães. So, you know, it's a player they're winning before. Apparently, he's quite a decent player. So, now, as you said, Palace, but as Paddy said there, if that's the case, he's going to down his bottle of whiskey and just enjoy tonight, basically. I mean, I'll start with Anthony first, because obviously being the Arsenal guy, and then Jez afterwards. Why is this player not going anywhere?
Do you know what, Tim? I keep saying on every show, I don't know why. I mean, whatever we get for him is 100% profit anyway. Let's just get that out there. I personally think between Edu and Arteta, they can't do the maths. You know, I think it's just Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Let's call them, right? So I mean, it's just totally ridiculous. I mean, what do you expect from a player to score an hat-trick against Sheffield United, yeah, and hasn't really played and featured after that game? Let's be honest, right? So whatever we get for him, I mean, 25 million. That's a reasonable price. I mean, you've got to pay that now for championship players, like decent championship players. You know,
That's what you pay for Scott McTominay.
Well, yeah, exactly. He went today, didn't he, to Napoli? But what I'm saying is, I don't understand it. I mean, we rejected your bid for Reece Nelson, 25 million for him. That's a combined 50 million. So, in all fairness, I don't know what's going on. Jez touched on it. Jez said that after the transfer window's finished, he still thinks Eddie Nketiah will be here. I think he's most probably about 90% correct. You know, the odd 10%, I hope he's not. I hope he's gone before this window. But listen, whether it's Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, or whoever, I just want this player gone out the club now and get him off the wage bill. But I think it's either a negotiation with either his wages or it's a transfer fee. Is one of it. Take it what you believe. You know, it might be a bit of both. But that's the only problem I feel we're finding it hard to shift in, and that's why.
Yeah, you know, I actually think there's something a little bit deeper going on here. We're linked with this Mourinho. Now, apparently, he was in London Friday for medical. I don't know if that's true. Right, this is what's going about. I honestly think that we're in a situation at Arsenal that we've got to get rid of players to buy another player. We're that close. We're that close to the borderline of whatever it is called now, the FPS thing, right?
PSR.
That's the one. So we've got to actually balance the books here, and we're not going to get a player in until we get a player out. Now, that's a shocking state of affairs for a club like Arsenal. But you have to say that is due to poor investment by Edu and the club. Like, for example, £35 million we paid for Vieira, right, from Porto, and now we've loaned him back.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about what is going on? You know,
Well, it says one of two things, doesn't it, Jez? It either says they're planning for the future, or they don't know what they're fucking doing.
I think it's the latter, mate. Personally, Gudgy.
You know more about Arsenal than I do, fella.
This is true.
I'm not, mate. Nowadays, I'm not sure I do, because at the end of the day, something stinks at Arsenal. Bad.
Yeah, not good, is it? Not good, is it? Good evening, Colin. Good evening, panel. Kilman show worth money spent. Good result. Bring City on. We shouldn't fear anywhere. Is it imperative that we get another top-class striker and another defender for top four? Yeah, totally agree on that comment as well. Just going to go on to some of the star bits I've got here, because Ravi's got a few questions here. Question for Fozzie. Thoughts on the way that some of the players not looking motivated versus the Brighton game?
I'd probably say the players that were the biggest problems last season are once again back to haunt us yet again. Continue to be the biggest problems. And we said at the start of the summer, oh great, let's put about 10 players on the transfer list. And with how absolutely downright shite the previous regime's contract negotiations and how they've gone about doing signings and stuff, not only has it absolutely cocked up the simplicity of getting rid of players at a top flight club like Manchester United, it's now cocked up the incomings as well, because you've overspent everything, like massively inflated your expense. But then you've not had the incomings either, because we've let players go on contract, like just letting contracts run down. But then also, if you sell a player, you're not making any more than £10 million on them, and they might be a fairly solid player. This summer, despite the difficult nature, we've actually been putting up some fairly decent transfer fees for the quality, or versus the quality of player that we're letting go. I mean, Wan-Bissaka, you could argue maybe we could have got more for him, but then again, he's in the final year of his contract. 25 mil for Scott McTominay, judging we sell him, that's relatively accurate of a fee to what his market value probably is, or for the type of player he is. So, Ineos, I know it's like, yeah, they've definitely got these problems at the club that they're like, yeah, we do need to sell them, but nobody wants them. Plus, then we've got to then say to them, well, you're not in the plans. Well, that's fine. Their ambitions are on the floor, so they're just going to say, well, that's fine. I'll kick my feet up. Bring me one of those leather stools over there. I can kick my feet up at Carrington and just continue earning my 200k a week and just not contribute anything. It's all good. It's all fine. I've got another, 2-3 years left on my contract? Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, it's a vicious cycle that I think the old regimes really put us into dire straits. But it's something that I think we're just going to have to be patient with. But at least we're seeing that with the outgoings of the certain players that we know just aren't good enough for this club. It's, sorry to trigger PTSD for Arsenal fans that are, Arteta out and all, but it's a process. And this one, at least you could probably say, is not PR centric. It's actually a process that, with the damage that's been done, you have to. It's a gradual thing. It's a long-term fix. As long as we watch the ambition from the board owners not change away from the main aim being to get United winning trophies again and being the biggest club in England and biggest club in the world, then I'm fine with having a little bit of patience with it. But it doesn't take away from seeing stupidness going on in today, in the present times, and getting us riled up and being reminded yet again, we're back to square one with this. Yeah, it's just not. This isn't changing. A leopard doesn't change. Like Roy Keane said it, leopards don't change their spots. These players are very well renowned at throwing managers under the bus, but this manager is really burying his own hatchet as well. He's decided, well, guys, I see you're digging my grave here. I bought my own spade. I'll help speed things up.
I mean, what do you guys think of this? The situation at Man United. I mean, I think we all said before it was strange to see Ten Hag kept on, but at the same point, I think we're seeing the kind of outcome what's going on at the moment.
I'm loving it. I wish it would happen at Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. Sorry, but how else are we going to win the Champions League and get up there and win the Premier League? I mean, not the Champions League. How else are we going to do it unless you lot all just fall by the wayside?
Right, I thought you were buddy, mate.
I am. It's nothing personal, Jez. It's nothing against you, bud. Still love you, mate.
Oh, dear.
Just that your shirts have got the wrong red and that's white instead of blue.
Oh, mate. You've got to love it, yeah?
Absolutely. Just want to say to Cole Ross in there, thanks for doing what you do as well. But he said he's dipping out of YouTube for the time. If anyone has been modded, I'll ask, please remove me and give it to someone else. Cheers. Cole, as always, thanks very much. Been a pleasure.
I don't know what's happened there. What's happening, Carl? What's happened? Well, that's a bit of a shocker. That's a big shock. Oh, dear.
Yeah, so, yeah. Let me just.
Everything's all right, Cole.
Yeah.
Should be okay.
Oh, fella.
Big up, Cole. Big up, Cole.
Bear me, we've lost my train of thought. What happened there? Just dipped out of nowhere. Let me channel that. There we go. I used to live in Chalmers in Bournemouth for a bit and went to Bournemouth games while in education there. It's amazing how far Bournemouth have come since then. They were League Two, so yeah, they were. Eddie Howe.
They certainly were.
Mourinho, I think they were pulling the wall over your eyes, Jez. Yeah. Apparently, they will announce Mourinho tomorrow. I'm not convinced by this player. We need a striker. We ain't winning the league with Havertz. Yeah.
Nope.
Nick saying, always been West Ham, though. Just couldn't get to London, but Bournemouth was nice. Yeah, it's not a bad place at all. Been there quite a few times. Ravi's got another question, and this time it's for Jez and Anthony. Thoughts on what direction Arsenal are heading in with this current state of the club?
Toilet.
Do you want to go first, mate?
Well, first thing, where do you reckon they're heading? It ain't going to be higher than second. Seriously, we ain't winning the Premier League. You don't want to win the Carabao Cup. He literally throws the FA Cup in the bin. Let's be honest. So, in all fairness, and we haven't got the strength and the depth there to win the Champions League anyway. So that rules out all those trophies, and it's most probably another finish second if we're lucky. Because I can't see Liverpool. I can't see Liverpool doing a lot this season. They've got nobody in. They've had an easy run. I still think when they won their first game 2-0 against Ipswich, I still think that was poor on Liverpool's behalf. I was expecting at least a 3 or 4-0 there with a top team like Liverpool. I mean, they sold a few players. They haven't brought anybody in. So, they might make fourth this season. But, yeah, with Arsenal, I can't see any higher than second.
Second again.
Yeah.
Well, I tend to second what you just said there, Anthony. To me, mate, look, we've let Vieira go on loan. So what are we going to do? Replace him with a youth team player? Okay. I'm not opposed to that. We have got some decent youth team players, but we've seen this in the past with Arteta. He doesn't use that youth team enough. He did a couple of piss take things when he had anywhere he come on against Brentford to take the piss. But sorry, our squad does not have the depth to compete on. Let's just take the domestic cups out of the equation for the minute, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the depth of squad. to compete in the Champions League new format, by the way, and Premier League, because we just don't have it. We've got 2 tough games coming up right now. Well, no, actually 3. We've got Brighton and we've got Tottenham, Man City, right? Yeah, Tottenham away, City away. They're going to be a big ask games. That is going to show the level of this squad. Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed yesterday. We got away with a 2-0 win. We walked out, nice one. It wasn't until we actually changed the squad and he changed and brought Trossard on. Hey, hello, I predicted it almost to the minute on my watch line. 65 minutes, he'll make a change. And what did he do? 64 minutes, 30 seconds, he brings on Trossard. It's so predictable. If I can see it, and I'm not a professional football person, I've watched thousands of hours, but I can see exactly what he's doing. And if I can see it, and you've got better managers like Pep Guardiola, and all those ilk, right? They'll take us apart. It's just embarrassing now, especially in Europe. Come on, man.
Yeah.
People are sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to get the Champions League." Get out of it. You're talking out your arse.
Yeah.
George, yes, there's a comment for you.
Good evening, King Mikel.
Good evening.
2-0. Yeah, it was 2-0. Yeah, he's all right, actually. He's
well
all right.
done.
He's all right, fella.
2-0. You won 2-0. Now piss off. Yeah, go on.
He's actually all right, man. He's actually all right. At the end of the day, we walked out 2-0. I'm happy. I'll take it. Sometimes you got to take the shit to get the win, but don't get carried away, people. We ain't winning the Premier League, and we ain't winning the bloody Champions League. No chance. Not with this one. No chance.
Good evening to Carl Walsh-Gunner. Carl, I did send you a link in the Insta and that, so if you do see it, it is in there for you. He wanted to come on. And also, good evening to Richard Herbert. Hello, lads. Hope you're good. Good win for the Arsenal and for West Ham. Absolutely.
Is that Wurzel? Is that who called himself Wurzel?
No, that's their cousin. Herbert, Wurzel Herbert. That's their cousin.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's something that somebody made up. Richard.
I'll give you
that's my younger brother, but he looks older. He's a Man United fan. I think my mum dropped. I think when he was born, I think my mum dropped him on his head, and he supported Man United ever since. So I just
dropped Richard on his head. Dropped Richard on his head. He became a Man United. It's like the Harry Potter sorting hat, except it's how they dropped his babies. Richard was dropped on his head at birth. Richard Anthony was thrown down a flight of stairs. He to end up supporting Arsenal.
You know, down where Anthony lives, right? They all live in the same village, and they're all very related. They all make their cider and they make their pasties, and they sit on the old fences there and they talk like that. They talk about tractors, they talk about combine harvesters.
Matt, because it's the first time on the show, do not worry. It's not directed at you, okay? Because I know the accent, but it's not directed at you. I tell you, it's definitely that lad over there.
Can I just ask, before you answer that question down there, Tony?
Well, I don't you as well, Budge. Being the West End, we're the West End contingent. We can answer this one ourselves. Right. Go ahead, Budge.
Did anybody see Cole Palmer's goal today?
Oh,
no,
oh my God! What a goal! What a goal! Honestly, it's the pick of the bunch out of all of the games in the last 2 weeks. Beautiful goal. Anyway, question
for early doors, and I'll say Budgie as well. Thoughts on the way West Ham win back the ball when they lose possession in games? I'll let you go first, Budge, on that one.
Well, I think at times certain players work hard to get it back. Other players just attempt it, and other players don't bother at all, which is probably, common in a lot of teams. There are players, but it just seems to me that it's like the same few that win the balls all the time, like for us, and but I really do like the way Mavropanos is picking up his game. I really like the way that Kilman's picked up his game. And, you know, I think, what's his name? The midfielder we got. God, what's his name? Gutierrez? No.
Guido Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez, that's him. I think he played a good game as well. And I think he showed the kind of tenacity that Alvarez showed in trying to win the ball back as well. I don't think we've got that many players that are lazy at it, but we have got one or two.
Yeah. I think if you look at it, we've proved that before. You know, even with Moisey being in charge, we can get teams on the counter, and we do tend to sit back a bit more than we should do sometimes. But you can see the positives of that as well, because we tend to kind of cut a few things out. And I agree with you, Budge. You know, with the other players coming in now, I think we'll see that change over the next couple of games at least.
Yeah. And I think our ball retention stats will go up more with the likes of Guido and Tadibo and Wan-Bissaka coming into the team.
No, exactly.
And also with Ballcrew coming into the team as well, because he's really good at hold-up play.
That's right, really good. That's his strength. So we're looking forward to that.
Let's go.
Fuck Rog. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, like, he's nowhere near like Drogba, but he kind of reminds me of Drogba in the way he holds up play. You know?
That's true. I just want to say this one, Arsenal Manic. Fair play to Terry, coming to hold his hands up and apologise about being wrong, and Arteta earned everybody's respect. Yeah. So, as you know, Budgie and Kieran did my spotlight show. Matt, I've already said to Jez I want to get him on as well. But I've got tomorrow a Spurs fan coming on tomorrow night for Spotlight. We'll have a question there with him. And then the week after, yes, I am getting my brother-in-law, young Terence, from who used to be on Claude and the Bouncers. Finally convinced him. No brown envelopes were involved in the exchange of this kind of contract to kind of do this show, but he will be on next Monday to talk about about himself. And no doubt there's going to be a barrage of questions fired at him and that. And please make sure you.
Yeah, there's always a brown envelope when it involves Terence. Yeah, I know.
They sound like each other there, top man. Two Spirit Penguin. Good evening to yourself, fellow gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening as always.
Spirit Penguin.
I love some of the names you get on here. It's great, isn't it?
I know.
I know that was the reference to what was it? Bloody Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be a two-spirited penguin. Like, no, you can't.
Lloyd's saying, always respect Jezzy's knowledge. We'll buy you to West Ham for a fuzz amount on loan. Nice, love that. And there he is. There he is, Matt. See, there's the cousin.
There he is. Hello,
I heard my name, so I help you.
I hope you got your thing in there, Dan.
Good evening to usual suspects. So he's asked who goes first. Oh, because there's a few questions about the Dyche or O'Neill.
I don't think O'Neill's going anywhere, to be fair.
Yeah. I think it's Dyche.
I think he's got his feet too far under the table with the board. I think they really like him. He really likes them. But Dyche, I think, will be the first one.
Just missing a candle-lit dinner date.
Yeah. I think I agree with that, Budgie. I think it'll be Dyche, man.
Yeah. I tip them to go down to Everton. I think Everton, along with Southampton, and maybe I don't know. I'm thinking Wolves maybe, but
possibly.
Is there
I think it'll be Dyche, and I think there's going to be an ex-West Ham manager sitting on the sideline waiting to go in.
Yes, I think they already mentioned it in the chat there. You know, Moyes going back. I mean, Matt, what do you make on that? Dyche or O'Neill?
I think O'Neill is there for the long term, whether they get relegated or whether they stay in the league. I think obviously if they go down, I think they see him as the ideal candidate to bring him back up. So I can't see O'Neill, but definitely Dyche out of those two, or if not, possibly maybe Russell Martin at Saints.
Yeah, that's good.
And I suppose any uproar at the Saints is good for you lot, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
It's a bit
Ravi's
like
asked another one.
harmony at Tottenham. We love it.
Here's a question for you guys. Here's a question, right? Talk about Everton, yeah. I mean, they move into their new stadium. Was it January, February? Something like that?
January, yeah.
Yeah, January, I think.
So this is a critical time for them. Critical
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
They've spent a load of money building that stadium, and their fan base has got to shift across to there. Now let's hypothetically say they're still down in the bottom of the league come Christmas. That's going to have a major impact on them. Huge impact, man. Because we all know. I mean, hey, thankfully, I remember once as a kid when Arsenal were down the bottom in like fourth from bottom, and the fans were. I remember one game. I think we had 22,000 in the ground. Right, which that's when Highbury could get. Well, I remember the game when we had Man United, and it was 53,000 at Highbury. Right, so it's a major impact. Their revenue is going to go right down the pan because if they're bottom of the league or in the deep doobies and they're moving into that new stadium, that's going to have a massive financial impact on them, and that could really turn against them. So I really fear for Everton. It's a shame because they haven't been relegated. They're the second longest team in Div 1 outside of Arsenal.
Yeah.
I actually said I thought they were relegated in 53, 54 earlier on when I was doing a stream. Actually, it was 50-51. So that's 67 years? Something like that.
You was on a stream then, Jez, was you?
Sorry?
You said you was on a stream. What, you was on a stream back then? Well, some people think I was around in the 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Some say he had experience flying the Spitfires.
Mate, come on, I was a fighter ace. Don't get no, I've been serious, man. I think this could be a terrible situation for Everton. I really do. I don't know what your views are.
It doesn't look good. I mean,
go the other way.
You know full well though, Jez, and sorry, Bud. I mean, just have my input, and then you can say yours, Bud. I think if you look at it, Everton have literally had that pile of dog shit in the changing rooms. They've trodden it so many years; it's now worn out, and their luck is I think it's going to be done this year.
Mm.
Yeah. Budget, you was going to say, sorry, mate.
Yeah, all I was going to say was that the move could go the other way. It could inspire the club to a massive degree. I'm right in saying that we haven't been relegated yet since we moved into our new stadium.
Yeah, this is true.
And we've managed to stave it off a couple of times with like the skin of our teeth holding us up. Literally. So it could inspire Everton in a similar way that they will just survive for a couple of seasons, and then who knows? That the big stadium might encourage bigger players. Who knows?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Craig summed it up here. Like, thinks Gary will stay at Wolves. He's had a tough job there, and the owners know it. Sean Dyche does as well. However, I think Everton expects if Dyche does go, it will be disrupt their style. Because, I mean, as much as you're trying to get rid of Nketiah, the other way around, isn't it? Basically Everton can't get a buyer. No one wants to buy the club. That's the biggest problem they've got there as well.
Yeah. Nobody wants to park up and go into the boardroom, come out of their car with no wheels on them.
Absolutely. Let's see, I've got a question for you soon, Matt. Arsenal Manic. Tony, did you expect a 2-0 away win at Palace? I didn't. No, mate, I didn't. I would have taken a draw. I think if you look at it, when I did the pre-match talk with Rich from Eagle Eye Football, it was a case of because they're struggling defensively. I thought this is going to be our best opportunity to get something out of the game, and to come away with 2-0, not conceding a goal compared to last week. I'll definitely take that all day long.
You didn't see that at all, Tony, and I got a bone to pick with you. You said Palace was your bone team. So I thought, then I put it down as a draw. Hang on, listen, right? And do you know what I did? I had a bet on the football yesterday, and I put that game down as a draw. And that game was the only game that let me down for £485 from a £2 bet. I was pissed. All right, so that was your fault. I'm blaming you, Tom.
If I had one at me, I'd just be getting my cigar there kind of thing and lighting it up for you, basically.
Yeah, I knew you would. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Some more betting advice next week.
Yeah. You're welcome. Ravi's going to ask you a question, Matt. He says, thoughts on the way Bournemouth are trying to break down Newcastle?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we broke it down pretty well. To be fair, I thought for large portions of the game we were pretty much in control.
I agree with that.
Which for an Eddie Howe side, it's they like to press and play good football. So in terms of breaking them down, I thought the two lads in midfield, in terms of Christie, Cook, Semenyo, I thought they broke them down pretty well today. I think it was fairly easy in terms of breaking them down, I would say today. It's unusual because usually playing against sides like Newcastle it is quite difficult, but I thought we've done fairly well on that front today. And
they look quite shocking, Newcastle at points. So they were there for the taking. But I will say this. Sorry. Go on.
We had Lloyd Kelly come back today as well for the first time, who obviously signed for them on the free, and we had him kind of rattled in the first half as well, which helped things. So, all in all, we've definitely broken down pretty well.
Yeah. That's the menu, Matt. Where did you buy him from?
Bristol City.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's superb. That's all I wanted to hear. That was all I wanted to hear.
Scott. Yeah, Semenyo he's a quality player, and he's really on leaps and bounds at Bournemouth since he signed. At first, when he signed, I was thinking, why we signed him. I didn't quite see how he fits, but he's one of my first names on the team sheet now. He's a quality player. Quality.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to miss Solanke?
In terms of Dom, it's a good question with Dom Solanke. Of course we're going to miss him. I mean, since he joined us from Liverpool, he's another player that's developed and had a bit of a slow start with us. Us going down to the Championship kind of helped his game a bit. He got some confidence in front of goal, and 19 goals ain't easy to replace in the Premier League for a club like Bournemouth. No. But we have signed the Brazilian, which I'm sure you all know, Eva Nilsson, for 40 million from Porto. He comes with Champions League experience and scored quite a few goals for him last season, as well as being out injured for a short period of time. Made his debut today. He looked pretty good on the press. Didn't stop running, chasing every ball. Was unlucky not to score a couple. Kept Pope busy for a couple of chances and just missed a ball at the far post just before he was substituted. So he had a pleasing debut. So we do have him that's come in. But we're going to miss Dom. Dom was a big part of what we achieved last season. So not easy to replace.
Because he's a big old lad as well, isn't he? He's
he's a small unit.
Big, strong in the air. So there's a lot of more attributes to his game than just scoring as well. He was always good at coming in deep, picking the ball up and starting something as well from the midfield. So we're going to miss a lot of his attributes, but our loss is obviously Spurs' gain, and he's already crocked, isn't he? So
exactly,
money well spent.
Let's hope he doesn't do too much now,
just going on, Craig's comments there. He's a little bit of his rent. I think it was higher up than that. This is the handball. Daylight robbery, went on the Cortaro's head and touched his shoulder. The Newcastle defender's hand was closer to the ball, and Jan goes, "It's true. VAR is just wrong. It's ruining football." I mean, Jez will tell you this this is a great thing for Ches, this one.
Mhm.
It's ruining football. You celebrate winning the match, which probably was fair to finish 1-1, but late goals like this make football enjoyable. Ref didn't even go to the screen. Yeah, that was a thing about it, because he did all the like that, and then next minute I thought, oh, he's going to walk over to the screen. No, just ruled the goal off.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's saying probably fair to finish 1-1 there, but in my opinion, I think Bournemouth should have won that today, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, Matt, right? Look, how I mean, I used to be a referee, and I just think the interpretation now of the laws is so disrupted. The referees now, in my opinion, they rely way too much on VAR, because the hierarchy that works in the Premier League with referees, it's all a point scoring system, right? As when I was not at the levels of these guys, but when I refereed at quite a decent standard, but you used to get assessed and you used to get scored and you'd get an interview to say, well, you should have done this, you maybe should have done that. And it was always basically stupidity they used to come up with, like you're running your diagonal, you didn't run it quite right, you weren't linking up with your two linos enough. It's bullshit stuff, really. But in these guys, it's all about interpretation. That, to my mind, if you want my honest opinion on it, right, they don't use their referee assistants, linos, as we used to call them, enough. What is their job now? Because their job as a lino, referee's assistant, whatever you want to call them, right, is back in time. You've watched enough football. Everybody here has watched hundreds and thousands of hours of football, right? As soon as a player was offside, bang, the flag went up.
Yeah.
Right? Bang, you're offside. And you point on the far side, in the middle, near side. Right? That's how it worked. Now it's let the game progress, and then they make the decision. That to me is rubbish.
Yeah, totally
Why?
agree.
It delays the decision, it delays the game. VAR jump in, they can't get it bloody right, probably 75% of the time. It's taken the control away from the officials on the pitch, because the referee now is afraid to make the wrong decision because he doesn't want to get marked down. Bearing in mind, guys, Matt, everybody watching here, these guys now, they're on 100,000 bags a year.
Yeah.
It used to be a professional referee, right, he'd still have a job, he'd have a weekly job, and he would get paid to go to, like, say, I worked with a guy, he was a professional referee. He actually officiated in the League Cup final in '87, right? And I actually used to speak to him. I said, well, blah, give me the information, this, that, the other. He used to get £100 a game, right? He'd get travel expenses and he'd get hotel expenses paid for by the FA, yeah? So if he was travelling from where he lived in Croydon to Newcastle, let's example, he'd go up on a Friday, he'd do his match, he'd travel home on a Sunday. So it was decent money to a point, but you've got to pay tax on it, of course. So nowadays, it's all big money. And these guys, right, they're shitting themselves. They get it wrong because they're going to get ribbed and taken apart by the assessors. That's what's killed it. That is what VAR is doing to the game.
That's true.
These guys, even in the bloody, wherever they are, in a caravan or van or wherever they are, they can't get it right. So give the power back to the referee. I honestly say to you, Tony, you'll probably agree with this, right? A referee making his decisions on the field will get it 95% correct. Okay? And I when I was a referee, I used to say to players would come up to you after the game and they'd say, "Ref, you got that one wrong. You got that one wrong. You got that one wrong." I used to say to them, "Well, I may have got it wrong, but I got more of the decisions right than you did when you were playing your football." And they go, "All right, fair enough."
Fair comment. Yeah, absolutely. I agree on that one. Yeah, do agree on that. Good evening to Rob, or Gatesy as we know him, from the West Ham family. The West Ham Massive. Good evening, gents, guys and girls in the chat. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe and hit the bell. As always, you know it makes sense. And as we know, subscribe or follow, as we like to normally call it, costs you nothing, basically. So let's make sure we do that for all the good people in the panel as well. Last one is a real one, so let's say hello to each other. Let me just kind of say the lows, and I've got another question coming up for as well. Particularly revenge with a 5-2 win on Friday stream. 2-0 was okay, though. Let's say hello to each other as always. And just coming up with Colin's comment here. Tony and Budgie, we have to play Aaron Wemper-Zaka and Tadibo in to play with Kilman, so they get understanding working as a unit. How defence will handle Haaland, Everton relegated. Moyes takes them down. I agree on that one.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be, the shining there. So everyone was playing well last season. Go points reduction, get relegated this year after 2, possibly that. Goodbye to Mr. Joshy J. I'm off now, lads. I'm going live for Brighton Hove Albion versus Man United. Player ratings. Enjoy the rest of the show, and hope you have a good show yourself as well.
Enjoy the therapy session. I may be in need of it myself.
Ravi's also asking the question again, more aimed at you, I say here, Matt. Would the decision against Bournemouth today be different had it happened to a top 6 team?
Yeah, it's a very good question, isn't it? Very good question.
I mean, going on to that question as well, and also what Jez mentioned here, we've got to think January, we're supposed to have the auto VAR coming in. So I wonder how much that will change people's opinions.
Yeah, it's going to have to see, aren't we, when that comes in. But in terms of would it have been different for a top 6 side? Quite possibly. I think we have seen that across VAR decisions over the last few years, haven't we?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's a funny one, isn't it? When it comes to the top 6 and VAR, I mean, sometimes we feel that we've been penalised against it quite often over the last few years since we've been back in the Premier League. But it is what it is. But in terms, what do you guys think in terms of top 6? I mean, I think it can be different for the top 6 sometimes.
Yeah,
I agree. But one thing I will say, Matt, let's talk about this one briefly.
Yeah,
that one, Newcastle, Arsenal away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
That ball was clearly out of play.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember that game. I watched that. Yeah, way over the line.
So it doesn't always go with the top 6.
No, that is true. That is true.
Look at the West Ham Arsenal game when Bowen managed to bring it back in for Tommy Soucek to score. Now,
Never went over the line. I am
convinced that ball was out.
No. That ball was out.
No, I'm convinced it was, Anthony. No. I'm convinced it was. But inconclusive evidence, mate. How can that be happening with the technology we've got in this world? How can they have inconclusive evidence?
I know the reason why, Budge. I can answer the question before. Don't worry about Anthony says, Budgie. Don't worry about it.
Tilly was up in the box in the VAR, wasn't it? It's obvious.
He's going to say it every single time. I know what the true reason was, Budge. You know, the VAR officials couldn't tell because at the end of the day, they weren't too sure if it was a ball or Bowen's fucking bollock, because at the end of the day, they're both the same size. They just couldn't tell. That's what it boiled down to. They just couldn't tell.
In that case, I'll let you off.
But I have to say, though, I think that VAR has got some merit. It has. I mean, like when it comes to off the ball, incidents, it's very useful for stuff like that. And there have been one or two even in the opening couple of weeks this season. There's been one or two incidents that have been highlighted by VAR. So yes, I do agree with it for certain elements like that. But when it comes to the decision-making process, I think I know we're talking about a time limit here, but I think the VAR should only be allowed to recommend.
Mm.
I think no, Budgie. Why is it, right? Let's see this for a figure of speech. And I've said it on Jez's show a few times, right? If VAR makes a decision and the referee doesn't agree with it, why can't the referee override the decision of VAR?
He can.
Why,
He can.
Yeah, he can still overrule it.
why didn't we see it?
Well, because the referees are too bloody chicken to go against a panel.
Because I've just said to you, mate, they are so frightened of getting knocked back. Don't forget, these guys get scored out of 100 on every game. Right? They get a score from the referee panel, not VAR, but the referees panel. They get a score out of 100. If they score below 80, right, they can drop out of being a Premier League referee. Yeah, so they're shitting themselves because that's 100 bags a year that they're on. So they don't want to get relegated down to the Championship or Division 1.
Yeah, and then get 20-25 grand a year.
Yeah, exactly. So they will take the easy option and say, oh, VAR says, that's offside, or VAR says that's handball. I'll go to the monitor, I'll have a look, and you bloody know, every time a referee goes to that monitor, he'll go, penalty, whatever. You know it. Because they haven't got the bollocks.
Yeah, because they're also going
Evening Pepsi.
to the monitor with the instructions that we think this is an offside. Would you have a look at it? That's what they're told.
Yeah. That straight away puts in their head.
We think that X player has gone in with his studs up. Go and have a look. You know?
So straight away they put it in the, in the
they don't just get told, we think you should look at it and make a decision. You know?
Yeah.
But I agree. I think VAR is an absolute shambles.
Yes.
I mean, Craig's just put this in here. I think there are better referees in the Championship now as they are forced to make the right calls and assess the game. Some of the Premier refs, I'm sure, just rely on Stockley Park to make the big calls. And I think we've just said on that, which is really,
We've kind of all agreed on that anyway.
Yeah. One thing we can finally agree on, Budge, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rico saying here, nice new stadium in the Championship.
Yeah, it's a shame, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I hope not, Budgie.
You'll have to excuse me. I think someone's at my door. I'll be back.
All right, mate. Let's deliver again.
No. It's Domino's.
Yeah, when will it all end? Is he saying this? Let's go. So that's that other way there. Lone Star's asking this question: would the decision against Bournemouth today be different? Sorry, I already asked that one. My bad. AFC always. Question to Jez and Anthony. Nketiah turned down Nottingham Forest. Arsenal should take that number 14 off of him and make him train with the youths. Do you agree? Yes or no?
Yep.
I do, but what would be better would him be gone? I actually feel sorry for him. We've made it clear he's not a player that we need at the club. So whatever we get for him, sell him and wish him the best. This guy wants first team football, and that's believe it or not, I think that's what me and Jez would like for the guy personally at another team, and we can't say any more than that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I said this the week. Look, I don't agree in shackling players. Yeah, if the guy, he knows he's not going to get first team football anytime soon. He's played hardly any minutes since Christmas last Christmas. So let the guy go. Let him move on and let him get and enhance his career somewhere else, wherever it may be. Marseille, Forest. That one's done. I feel that's out the window. I'm pretty certain now. So I think it's disrespectful from the club to the player because he's a young guy. He wants to pursue his career. So if you don't want to play the guy, right, let him go.
Yeah.
Get what you can get for him. It may not be the value you think you can get for him, right? Yeah. It's like you and I, all of us guys here right now, yeah? Right? We've got, I don't know, a 1985 Ford Capri in 80% condition. You value it at 10 grand. Somebody says, I'll give you 7.5. Are you going to hang on to it? If you're going to hang on to it, just let it go. Let it go, man. Say, no, all right, mate, fair enough. If you're going to spend the money on to make it up to a 10 grand car, whatever, then let it go. It's jokes.
If they give me extra £500 for the bag of cement in the back of the boot, Jez, then I'll sell it for £8,000. Not a problem at all. That was the optional extra back in the day. And
they weren't that bad, man. I had 3 Capris, man. They weren't that bad.
I'm only joking, isn't and big up and welcome to the first time on the show is Aaron from Arsenal X-Ray.
Aaron.
How are we doing, Aaron?
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Cheers for having me on.
No,
big up panel, big up chat.
So it's good to see you in here as well.
Pleasure.
Craig saying we used to have great refs: Mark Halsey, Paul Durkin, Uriah Rennie, can't remember him, Graham Pole, Jeff Winter, Keith Hackett.
Yes.
These referees made the calls and now they saw the game and got 99% right. Yeah, I can tell you though, Craig, on that one, there's a certain game and that he got 100% wrong.
What was that
Ryan Rennie, the one with a circle
about Keith Hackett taking a brown packet? Wasn't it?
Absolutely. Sorry, Aaron, what did you say, mate?
Was Uriah Rennie the one with the circular cards? I can't think what ref that was. I'm sure it was Uriah.
Yeah, that was it.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He couldn't afford the real ones. He had to go to the school playground and get them ones instead.
Actually, do you know actually the story of those cards? I actually heard it once. He got them from Kalina, who'd used them in the World Cup previously.
Wow.
And he'd given them to him. That was the story I heard.
I could tell you a referee who got something badly wrong. Right? It was in the West Ham Arsenal 80 Cup final. He missed the foul. Yeah. On a certain Arsenal player that actually in the box allowed Brooking to score that header. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace that was. Do you not remember it?
All I remember is winning that game, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you not remember David O'Leary getting pushed in the bloody net? Do you not remember that?
Oh, well, he deserved that, didn't he, David O'Leary? Come on, let's be honest.
Oh,
no, Jez, I knew I'd get you a giggling, son.
I was going to try and get you on that one, buddy.
David O'Leary, I actually liked him as a person. Well, he was a good player, actually. Don't get me wrong, but he was a great person. I remember once they interviewed him outside Highbury on Match of the Day, and he was messing about so much he pulled somebody's T-shirt out, or he was trying to give him a wedgie or something while they were interviewing him. It was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was great. I loved it.
I like this one. Craig's saying here, Arsenal, I don't think get the rub of the green themselves. Compared with Spurs get even much more given. That said, they still can't put a single thing in their trophy cabinet or White Hart Lane.
True. I heard their trophy cabinet got robbed last night. The police are looking for someone running up the road with a blue and white carpet.
I'll message you, Cole, anyway. So if you look at your Insta, it's in there anyway. Good evening or good morning, afternoon to James Lamprey. VAR in other leagues in Europe are way above the levels in the Premier League. I think the problem is it works, but we're talking about our officials, and that's where the problem is more than anything else.
Yeah.
I was looking at cabinets on eBay the other day and noticed one being sold by Tottenham Hotspur. I asked them why. They told me they were downsizing because the Audi Cup isn't that big.
Oh, why don't they?
Yeah, it looks like Eddie's staying. What a joke. I know, Cole.
You know what? I don't actually get, because I don't watch him every week or whatever, I don't actually get the hatred of him. I mean, I've watched a few highlight reels of like some of the top Premier League goals from certain seasons, and he always gets one or two in there. You know, I don't kind of, because I don't see it on a weekly basis, I suppose. I don't understand, you know, the negativity around him.
I know. Strange. Collie's asking one for me and you, Budge. Do you think Suchik plays
up again? Jesus Christ! Bloody picture up. I can't believe that.
against Man City? I don't know about this. Me personally, even though being great servant, not now Alvarez is back, we have to play Todibo and Kilman and bring in. I think if you look at it, you know, as you said, Budgie, hopefully Wednesday we'll see these players actually featuring.
Yeah, you know, he's got to give them a run out, and if they play well and they're fit for Saturday stroke Sunday, then you know, why not field them again? You know, I've got a funny feeling that he's not going to take the Bournemouth game lightly, and nor should he, because let's be fair. And I'm not just saying this because of our esteemed guest here. I'm saying this because we historically have a torrid time against Bournemouth. You know, like especially on opening day of the season. Last season was a 1-1 draw, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Solanke again.
Yeah.
So, Solanke, the lanky bastard. But you know, but we don't really get the rub of the green against Bournemouth. But you know, I'd like to see us take the win on Wednesday. Of course I would. I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be easy from our side either, because West Ham are a good run, aren't they? And I think for us, we're going to play a strong side on Wednesday, so I think it'll be an interesting game, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And you know, the nice thing with the recruitment policy that we've got in place at the moment is that even if we play our second string players, they're quite strong.
Yeah.
You know, we've got players with a bit of stature about them, a bit of history to them, even though they're not all ancient like we've had in the past. You know, yes, we have brought the average age down by a year or 18 months, but you know, that makes a lot of difference to West Ham when you consider our average age was 27, Tony.
Yeah.
Was it 27?
Yes.
Was our average age?
Yeah, 26, 27, isn't it?
Yeah.
28 on some of them.
Yeah. And, you know, we've now brought that down to around the 25 mark, which is great for us, you know. So, but, you know, having said that, we have had a lot of players come in and very little time to gel. So, you know, that could work in Bournemouth's favour. You know, we could be all at 6s and 7s, mate, for all we know.
Yeah.
You know, we were against Villa. You know, we were very fortunate to get a penalty. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's true.
The penalty was rightly given, but we were fortunate to get it. You know, otherwise it would have been a 2-0. I think we wouldn't have scored without it.
One for the Arsenal boys from Arsenal Manic. What's up with Martinelli? Is his confidence shot? At one time, it was neck and neck between him and Saka. As he's first coming, we'll ask Aaron this one first of all.
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't really been good for about 15 months now, has he? Really, Martinelli. Since sort of that 2 seasons ago, I think, when we were playing pretty much on the front foot from the first minute, weren't we? We was going at teams, almost blowing them away really in the first half. I think he just misses a bit of a link up. I said it on Jez's channel earlier. I think he misses Jagger a little bit, or someone sort of in that sort of mould, you know, who can play a good final sort of pass, find that space, a bit of a senior head as well to sort of almost tell him what to do, encourage him maybe a little bit in the game. I don't know, but he definitely hasn't seemed the same player over the last sort of 15 months. The
should
regression rather, it's been, it's been quite sort of telling, really. I think he got about 4 league goals. Maybe I'm wrong, there or thereabouts. He didn't have a great season last season. And, this season he hasn't really started very well. And to be fair, I don't even think he's deserved to start the last 2 games. The way Trossard sort of finished the season last season, especially obviously, like I said, the last 10 sort of games, thought he was really good, Trossard. I don't think he deserved to lose his place, but I think there's pretty much a claim now for him to get it back, old Trossard. I think maybe Martinelli might be just that little bit better, coming off the bench, maybe 60, 70 minutes, stretching players' legs, tiring defenders, But yeah, it's not been great.
He should strike up a training partnership with Declan Rice. I'll tell you what, that will improve his game 100%.
No, I think his game
Declan Rice is absolutely, he's completely on it when he's training and that, so he gives a lot of players confidence. Well, he did at West Ham. I'm fairly sure he would do the same at Arsenal. He does instill confidence in players. He's got that kind of attitude and that ability about him. And I think if Martinelli stuck around him a bit more, you'd find a different Martinelli.
I just think maybe naturally, though, the thing is with the Declan Rice is I think once Thomas Partey leaves next season, I think they're going to probably put Declan Rice back in the 6, and then obviously that would break up that partnership should they have struck it anyway. I think as Arsenal fans, we're hoping this Mourinho guy comes in and maybe can just do something there, but you don't know if he's going to hit the ground running or whether he's going to fit the system straight away, whether they're going to find a bit of chemistry straight away. You don't really know. These are all things you just have to wait and see,
Has Partey been offered an extension or anything yet, though?
Not as far as I'm aware, and I don't think he will be. I mean, he's on about 200 plus a week. He's a liability. He's proved it over the last 4 or so seasons. Just like Gabriel Jesus, just like many of our players. Zinchenko ain't been sort of great with the injury front. A lot of liabilities in that squad, and sort of especially when you're going for a title, you can't have all these liabilities. That and injury sort of prone and confidence players like Martinelli. As soon as they're edge up, you can't afford to carry them because Man City would just get you out and put someone else in. It's
that's the reason why Martinelli for Aaron is because we Mikel Arteta destroyed the partnership between him and Fiorentino. I mean, when Fiorentino was left back, Fiorentino used to do all the overlapping, getting the balls in the box, which Martinelli then, from there, would drift into the 18-yard box. I mean, he hasn't got that combination on the left anymore. No. I know Timber come back. It'd be nice to see if Timber could do that, or maybe Cauliflower. I don't know, but that's what we need. We need a left back that can go up, possible, and get back. That's what we need at Arsenal Football Club, and hopefully either Timber or Calafiori could do that. But apart from that, he's like a lost soul. His mind's not on the game. Jez touched on it. I've touched on it. He has lost regard of place. He doesn't look up at players.
He keeps running the ball out, doesn't he? That's so frustrating. The amount of times he does it, it's very, very annoying. Running the ball out. There's no excuse for it.
No.
Yeah, but 28.4 is the average age.
Thank you, Steve.
I just question. I said this earlier when I did a stream match review for the game yesterday with Dow. Right, I wonder when we had Martinelli 2 seasons ago, and we had Tierney playing. Tierney used to overlap him. Martinelli used to get right, and Tierney at the time was our best crosser of the ball. That season, Martinelli scored 15 goals.
5 assists as well, yeah.
Okay. And the fact that he had Martinelli working with him, Tierney working with him, and they would work together, overlap each other, and they'd play interplay together, right? I wonder if Martinelli's missing that.
Yeah, yes.
And that's why he's not actually doing the game he was doing. Now, Budgie, you just made a good call. Right.
Good day, David.
Maybe with Rice on that left flank, maybe he should be linking up a little bit more with Martinelli, because I don't see that enough, in my opinion. So,
we saw in the time that he was at West Ham, we saw a development in Declan Rice that, well, it kind of surprised me a little bit. I don't know about you, Tony, but he went from being a very, very defensive centre back to being a very defensive centre midfield, and then he became this creative midfielder from kind of nowhere, and he started putting balls through, running on a goal, getting, taking players on and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know how and where he developed that part of his game, but I'm glad he did, because it really worked well for us. And it seems to be working well for Arsenal. Now, like you say, run him down in that left channel or the left-hand side of midfield, and, you got Martinelli there that he can link up with. I think that's quite a decent pairing, with Martinelli in his best form, of course.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a fair point. This is where I question it, guys. This is where I question the management structure, coaching, because it's quite clear to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna rip Martinelli out too much. Personally, I think he's lost his yard of pace. But I don't think he's getting the link-up play. He gets isolated. He runs. He runs for his life. His head's down, and he runs into brick walls. 3 times yesterday in that game, he ran the ball over the 6-yard line. 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. If you're a Premier League footballer, you don't do that. And he didn't used to do that, Tony. He didn't used to do that. 2 seasons ago, he would get that ball and he'd run into the 6-yard or the 18-yard box, I should say, more likely, right? But he'd have the ability to nip it through and cross it to somebody running in the box. That seems to go. I don't understand why. And I think that is purely and simply he's lost that yard of pace. And I don't think he's getting the link-up play anymore.
Or as Arteta told him to lose that part of his game.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
He's done that, mate. That's a pretty poor bloody coaching to me.
Well, it says it all then, really.
Well, I'm just being devil's advocate. I mean, I'm not suggesting that Arteta's a bad coach, but what I'm suggesting is that maybe he might be coaching players to be something different to what they're used to being. We had this with David Moyes.
Bad coaching, then, mate. Because if you've got a player, Budgie, if you've got a player who's got natural ability and he's got something in his game that it brings it to the party, why would you not coach it out? That, to me, mate, is bad coaching. Yeah,
I'd agree. I would agree. Like I said, I'm only speculating. I'm not suggesting that he would even do that. But, that could be the case. I mean, like, we've seen it before. We've seen, like, for example, Lanzini, right? Probably one of the most creative players that West Ham has ever had. And I mean ever. He is very, very creative. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dimitri Payet was fantastic. Canio was fantastic. But Lanzini was consistently creative, Very rarely selfish. And always, always, always played for that badge on his shirt. Always. Never for himself, right? And we saw that creative player becoming a central midfielder told to defend under the David Moyes regime. And it ruined him. And I think that he went back to Argentina a season too soon. I think he had at least one good season left in him for us that we could have benefited from. And David Moyes basically created a different player out of him. We never saw the Lanzini that we saw 5 years before, 3 years before. Look, happy. I'm
as we know, Happy Hammerit's favourite player, basically. Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, like, as far as technical ability is concerned, at West Ham, He's my favourite player.
Mm.
You know.
Just going to go back on what Ravi was asking there from Matt. He's asking about, are you fussed that Solanke was sold, and then followed up with also your thoughts on Matt Billings. Is he good enough for the future?
Philip Billing. Yeah, he was out of the squad today. He wasn't involved. Since Iriola's come in, he's kind of slowly started to play less and less, and I don't know really where he fits long term. It wouldn't surprise me if the right offer come in, Bournemouth would possibly part ways with him. But yeah, he's used kind of as a bit player these days for Iriola. He sometimes brings him on for sort of like 15, 20 minutes tops sometimes. He's a good player. He's a confidence player. He's someone whose confidence needs to be high to perform, really, because when he's on form, he's fantastic. But there's been quite a lot of the time since we've come back into the Premier League, definitely where he's been, I don't know if lethargic's the right word, but he's definitely a confidence player. But long term, I don't really see where he fits in now with the current crop of players we've got. And like I say, if the right offer comes in, I wouldn't be surprised if he's sold, to be honest.
Yeah. And there's one more question for you. Obviously Nick's now gone, but he did ask you this one. Is Matt looking forward to us beating Bournemouth during the week?
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, for like yourselves and for someone like Bournemouth, getting the trophy is one of the cups is the only way of getting any silverware. Realistically, we're not going to win the Premier League, are we? So there's no other way of getting any silverware. And I think, these cups, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup are important trophies to Bournemouth and West Ham, to be fair. I think that would define Bournemouth now if we could win a trophy, to be honest. It would. We're already on the map because of the Premier League, aren't we? But in terms of defining us, I would love to see a bit of silverware in the cabinet, but it's always a difficult thing when the top six get involved, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. And just to let you know as well, Matt, and maybe you and Craig, James from E20 Zone TV would like to, for you to message him after the end of this, because actually probably want to do a little kind of talk about the Wednesday game before pre-match talk.
Okay,
So
no worries.
As well.
Yeah, if you can, great.
No problems. One for you here, Jez. He's saying Nketiah stuffed his transfer to Forest. Everything agreed between clubs, and he wanted £120,000 a week, which was flatly rejected.
Of course, would be.
He was heavily linked to Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, and if he wanted that kind of money, that deal would never have crossed the line down here. So
that says it all, really.
Anyway, to be honest, but
that literally
that's
says
a lot
it
of
all.
money.
Do you know, Matt, guys? Do you know what that stinks of to me? The guy is taking the piss.
Yeah,
absolutely. Even him, Laguna.
Because, I'm sorry, nobody in the Premier League, on his stats, performance figures, whatever you want to look at, call it, whatever. Nobody's going to pay him 120 bags a week.
No.
That says to me, you are taking the bloody piss and you're going to sit here on the bench on 100 bags a week, right? Run your contract down, right? And you're going to walk out for F-all. So I'm sorry, if I was Arsenal Football Club, if I was in control right here, right now, if I was in Edu's position, I'd say, I'm going to rip your contract up.
Yeah.
You're done. You've had the opportunity, all right, it was our mistake. We mucked up the Marseille deal. We've mucked up the Forest deal, right? Yeah. Now, you've had the opportunity to go. You're taking the piss out of the club. F off. I'm ripping your contract up. Go and find another job somewhere else.
And then he'll have a lawyer come straight back at Arsenal and go, right, well, there's our compensation bill.
Well, okay. All right. Okay, Budgie. Okay. I would rather we did that than have some player take the piss out of the club.
I can understand that.
There are standards you have to stand by, right? Yeah. Arsenal Football Club used to have standards where we'd say, no. You ain't taking the piss out of us, mate. Right? If you don't like it, then see you later. Right? That's how it was. Let's get it right. When we had proper managers, like Bertie Mee, Yeah, he brought in the thing of if you want to join Arsenal Football Club, right? Back in the day, he'd say there's a 20 quiz question Arsenal history,
Yeah.
and he'd make incoming players sit there and take a quiz out of, and learn the history of the club, certain key factors of it, right? When we had George Graham used to say to players, you will respect the badge.
No, exactly.
Badge you're playing for. You're playing for the club, right? What we've got now is a bunch of muppets, yeah, who get paid too much money, right? And we don't actually have standards. Sorry, nobody will agree with me on this one, and I don't really care. But at the end of the day, this guy is taking the effing piss out of Arsenal Football Club.
I'll ask Aaron, but I just want to say this to David Sheeran that he's smashing the like, and it's 4:30 a.m. in Western Australia. So fair play to you, David, hanging around at this time in the morning. Fair play to you in there. I mean, Aaron, would you
wanted that, don't you? You wanted that 120 grand a week because that game what Mikel Arteta played, that pickpocketing around when they were around the dinner table, they all went in the Ketley's pocket, nobody else's. That's why he wants to get his money back.
Yeah, that was a thief. That was your thief, all right. I mean, Aaron. I mean, what do you make of wanting 120,000? I mean, like
Well, look, it's all self-inflicted, isn't it?
Is he worth it? That's the question as well.
No, of course he's not. It's all self-inflicted. If you're going to give absolute basement players mega contracts, you're going to be stuck with them. This is all our own doing, and we do it all the time. And under all different regimes, we've always gave average players big contracts, and then we're just stuck with them. So basically, it's our own fault. We just let them take the piss. Of course, he's going to take the piss. It's our own fault. We've shot ourselves in the foot. It's just absolute poor contract negotiation from top to bottom. There's systemic failure in the whole entire club in terms of transfer negotiations, everything. Total failure.
I agree on that as well. I will agree on that. But
we've got Danny Ings on it with the same issue. How many games is Danny Ings going to get? Don't get me wrong, in his day, he was a great striker. He ain't in his day anymore. We might as well have Jeff Hurst back.
And we've at Man United, we've got a toy that's ideal for kids with ADHD on £200,000 a week.
A toy.
A fidget spinner.
Yes, good old Anthony.
Brazilian fidget spinner on the right wing. That also, by the way, contributed to that second Brighton goal this weekend. Came on to be an impact sub. He was told, go on the pitch and be an impact player. It's like, okay, boss. No, wrong fucking end, Anthony. Go make impact up the other end, not that end.
This is true. And as Lone Star says here, breaking. Speaking of piss takes, prepare for the return of LTL next Monday. Mikel's buddy. Yes, indeed. Yeah, he will be coming on the show to talk about his stuff. Is Nketiah on a free now then? Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. He should be, but for some reason, Arsenal have got some boomerang effect with him. Yeah, look, he's got another 2 years left, I believe, on his contract.
What is the figure they're asking for him?
35 mil, I think. The thing is we could have probably had that Mourinho in the squad for the Wolves game if we'd have just not pissed around and sold him to Marseille. That's the frustrating thing. We took all of this gamble and all this risk over a couple of bloody million, and in the time we paid him probably £500,000 in wages anyway. Like, I just don't really understand. We balls right up with the whole situation. That's exactly what we've done. Absolutely messed right up. It's laughable. It's embarrassing.
Since the Marseille deal was talking around, we've paid him £600,000.
There we go. Haggling over 3 million.
Wow.
Over 3 million. Haggling over 3 million.
I mean, okay, let's ask this question to the people on the panel. I mean, obviously, Fuzzy, how many players have Man United signed so far in this window?
So, what, just first team or?
Just first, just across the board, our first team, basically. Go with first team first of all.
Players we're likely to see.
Cheers,
Well,
Aaron. Don't answer it. Don't answer the question.
We've done Xerxes, we've done Delicta Mazraoui, done Lenny Oro. I think McTominay's just about to go out the door. So once that's happened, then we'll have Agati in. And I think they want to try and push for a left back as well. The Sancho thing is going to be interesting because if he goes out the door, they might try and work something else as like a replacement or use the money we get from Sancho to make an extra signing, whether that's an attacker, midfielder, or defender. I don't know.
Well, if you're going to get a left back, you're going to need a Premier League proven one, really.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to be
Creswell's
it'll probably
available.
be quite long. It might be quite long for us though, because if Sancho is like Chelsea have turned their attention to Sancho now. Juve want him, but Juve are only trying to do a loan deal with a buy option to it.
He did.
But because now that Chelsea are in, Juve might end up putting in a fee for the player, which will be interesting to see what happens. Because if he goes to Chelsea, Chelsea have said, "Well, look, we'll offer you a swap deal." And this is the big crisis problem, and everybody else is going to love it around the board here, around the panel. I mean, Sterling and Chilwell were the players that they're up for the swap deal. Chelsea's Deadwood, basically, for a player that could hit the ground running at Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah. And Matt, how many players have Bournemouth got so far?
5 so far. 5. We've got Daniel Jebson, who signed from Sheffield United. Alex Poulsen, goalkeeper, young kiddie who was sent out on loan. We've signed a right back from Barcelona. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try it. Eva Nelson, the striker, and a young defender called Dean Howson, who we signed from Juventus. But if you believe what you read, apparently we're looking at Kepa as well at Chelsea.
Yes, I saw that one as well. Yes.
Yeah. Apparently he's got to extend his contract and take a pay cut for him then to be able to sign on loan for Bournemouth.
What the? What's that?
Some bizarre. It's all in the
Well,
press.
he was at Real Madrid, wasn't he? And they said, no, we don't want him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was on loan there last season, and Chelsea have got 8 goalkeepers or something daft.
Yeah. They've got 5 first-team goalkeepers.
That's mad,
isn't it?
Yeah, but if you believe what you read, apparently we're in line for him, which is an
Yeah,
interesting.
you never know. Chelsea might even be interested in Nketiah.
With all the players their side, yeah.
They take him on a 14-year deal.
He was there as a youth, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Usual suspect said Ramsdale wants 200,000 a week, and if he doesn't get, he said his dad will go. Oh, Willstone rate on the owner. Budgie, how many players are West Ham signed?
Well,
For fuck's sake.
okay. I think it's 8. Could possibly be 9 by the end of the window.
Well, we have got that Kante as well, so it is 9 at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So it's 9 with the possibility of being 10 at the end of the window. Yeah, you ain't going to ask me to name them all, are you?
Oh, no. It's just there's a certain person that's kind of next to Fuzzy, and I can stretch my arm out so far. You know, because you can see his face now. It's a picture.
Yeah.
So I'll ask for Aaron and Jez's sake. I'll ask Anthony. Oh, you've only sold one player. Oh, I could...
Yeah, one player, one. That's it, one. And he was a cauliflower from Lidl's for 75p. That's a bargain. Listen, we're on a tight budget here at Arsenal Football Club. Okay, just remember that. I didn't believe it, but apparently it is a possibility. It could be 2 by Wednesday, or no later than Wednesday.
No, we bought the under-21 player from Ajax.
Oh, you got the keeper as well.
Right, that is.
Yes.
Yeah, we sold. Yeah, we bought 2. So there you go, 2. All right, 2.
Thank you, man. I just wanted to get that cleared up. That was all. That's basically kind of thing. Fuzzy, how bad is the...
Every Wednesday,
if you include. It's already at 10 if you include the the re-signing of what's his face? Oh God, what's his bloody name now?
Gundogan from Man City.
No. You know the lad we just got back from loan.
Not Irv, is it? Who's the other kid?
What?
Think, yeah.
What Arsenal?
No, West Ham.
Oh, West Ham.
I keep thinking of Adam Sandler, but it ain't that. I don't know why I keep thinking that. But anyway, yeah. Well, we got that lad back from loan, didn't we? Oh God, somebody in the bloody chat, please tell me his name. But anyway, yeah, it looks like he might be going though. So.
Cena? Is it Cena?
No. No, he's an English player.
Cena.
Oh, I can't remember his fucking name. It don't matter now. It don't matter.
Well, one of the people in the chat have come up with it anyway.
Anthony is suitably uncomfortable now. It's good.
Yeah. I'm devastated. This is the worst transfer window in Arsenal history.
Actually, I have got a genuine question to ask all the panel on the Arsenal. I'll tell you what, Tony, swap me and Craig over, and then we'll see his reaction and that as well. No, but the question I have got is, and this is a genuine question, for a team with aspirations to win the Premier League, to challenge and possibly win Champions League, why haven't they invested? What is the reason that Arsenal have not invested heavily in this window?
I'll let Jez answer this one first.
Yeah, go on, Jez.
Or Aaron. And one of these two.
Sorry, yeah, it's Aaron.
Go on, Jez.
I think it's actually... I actually think it's because of money. I think we're that close to... We've got to sell to buy. I think we've mismanaged our budget. We've mismanaged what we are doing at the club. And that is why we're desperate to sell Nketiah to buy in another player. I think it's a sell, buy, sell, buy. I think that's our problem. I've not no proof on that at all, but I think that's where we're at. I think we are that. That's why we didn't buy in January. I'm led to believe because we were this new rule of,
You think the Rice purchase might have put a dent in your transfer budget?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
More than they anticipated is what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're right, Budgie. I think you're right. And I think we're basically in a situation that we're that close to going over the line on spending too much and not getting enough in, that we're in trouble. And that's why we're looking at the fact we've got to sell Nketiah to get another player over the line.
Yeah, but just looking at here before the other guys answer, I mean, Happy Hammer has just nailed it on the head. Look, Chelsea have bought in another 10 players. What the fuck? So they've got, 50 odd players, and he wants to trim it down to 21.
Good luck.
They've got 8 goalkeepers.
But then you see, the thing is, Raheem Sterling, they're trying to sell him, aren't they? And they've already given his shirt number to whatever his name, Pedro. No, not Pedro. João Felix. They've given his shirt number to João Felix. Yeah, he was out there with the number 7 shirt on today.
You know where Sterling's going to go, didn't you? You know where he's going to go. He's going to go to the Arsenal retirement home.
Jez, no, you're killing me, man.
Yeah, look, that's what Lone Star's asking. Where will Raheem Sterling go?
Well, do you know something? I think Sterling will go to Italy.
I hope so.
Yeah. They love a player like him, don't they?
Yeah.
The
thing is we've been buying a lot of Chelsea rejects lately, but then we started buying Man City rejects. So he's both of them. I mean, it's just inevitable that Arsenal sign him, isn't it? You know, that's the
Start
worrying
buying
thing.
Man United rejects, please.
Yeah.
We need a
Isn't
nice
it weird though?
place to
When
send
West
our
Ham buy
rejects.
Chelsea rejects or Man City rejects, they kind of tend to be really good. Okay,
Not for
we
us.
are now having trouble with Zuma, but that was when he first came to us. He was top draw for us.
Yeah.
Really was.
Yeah.
You know, what was his name? Zabaleta. When we got Zabaleta, I mean, the geezer was ready to ride off out of town on his horse, and we asked him to stay. You know, and what a player he was for us, though, Tone.
He was a good player. You know, good
He
servant.
became like a not a legend or an icon, but he became a fan
Cult
favorite.
hero.
Yeah, cult hero. That's the one, folks. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, we kind of done well with the older players. I mean, we've got a history of taking the older players at the end of their time. Danny Ings seems to be the one that's kind of bucked the trend, really, isn't it? You know.
It's true. I mean, I've just seen saying here Chelsea could trade unwanted stars for Jadon Sancho in a shock swap deal. Yeah, no, man. that just says it all. I mean, I think the best thing seeing yesterday, watching some of the highlights and that, was the Arsenal game and Zinchenko's face sitting on that bench. That man was absolutely pissed.
What a picture.
Oh, Aaron, I mean, that was, you know, I like the way the camera kind of panned red and it just went, bang, let's stay there, watch his face.
Speaking of defenders that are not looking happy, see Trent Alexander-Arnold today. Slot sat down next to him on the bench and was just trying to console him, and he's just like, not interested, mate. Even after the game, match one, everyone's smiling. Guess what? The only person inside Anfield that wasn't smiling, apart from the Brentford lot, was Trent Alexander-Arnold. The only person not smiling at all.
I was smiling. He got me 6 points in the FPL. I got 93 points this week.
Wow.
I triple catch.
Oh, that's crap, Dodgy. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Well,
I
Anthony,
did triple catch in Haaland, though.
You got Lawrence asking how he's got on his FPL, Anthony. That's the thing as well.
Well, if he wants to know, I picked up 110 points this week, and that's exactly bang on the same points as Jez Collins got last season. So, you know, big up to Sorry, Jez.
What?
FPL, the Fantasy Premier League.
Fantasy Premier League.
Yeah. And
yeah,
what?
you was in that last season, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just did auto pick. He finished on 110. Mind you,
I entered it, and that was the end. I forgot all about it. What are you saying? I'm shit.
Yeah, that's true. Look at that. Yeah, so when you let the Yanks run a circus, Bardham and Bailey, Chelsea. Chelsea get max players for the rejects. Arsenal rejects can't be given away for free. Cool, that's true. Yeah, Collins right. Yeah, signed 4. Eddie's a cult hero. Ross is saying.
To rival fans, he is. Yeah.
Oh, Patrice Evra was at West End. Yeah,
he weren't great, was he? Let's be fair.
He was away with the fairies, that one, smoking everything. I don't know what was. He was on. Too many mushrooms, I think, with that one.
I should have hooked up with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Emirates. Zuma was fucked when we bought him. 33 million was a rip-off. And a few seasons later, after running him into the ground, we now can't even give him away on a free.
That's true.
Yeah, we're the retirement home club. Not so much recently, though, which is true. It's moved over to Arsenal now. It's gone to North London.
Yeah.
Paddy saying, don't know why Zinchenko was pissed. He's rubbish fullback. Maybe he dropped a bag of crisps or something. It could be that.
Yeah.
Saying Trent has already agreed to join Real Madrid in the summer, and he will sign pre-agreement in January. Interesting. Wow. Or Ravi say not even the charity shops will take the Chelsea and Arsenal rejects. Yeah, no.
True.
To the Arsenal boys, are Arsenal still looking to sell Aaron Ramsdale?
Nobody
Well,
wants.
Yeah,
we are, but
If he's
there's two
demanding
teams in for him.
200k a week, I would imagine anybody would be wanting to sell him.
Well, the Wolves is one of them, wants him on loan, but there's another team that's coming for him now on loan. Like I read on the Arsenal website today, Ipswich Town.
Is there any obligation there?
Ipswich. Yeah, on loan. Ipswich wants him on loan this season.
Maybe it's an
With an
obligation,
obligation to purchase.
Is
So,
it an obligation to buy? Aaron's asking.
Sorry, I'm not too sure. I'm not too because I think with Ipswich just coming up, I'm not too sure if they've got the money for that. You know, so I know it's definitely a
probably
loan.
been put in as an option.
But it could be for an option. I think it's the what's more of an option is that Chelsea striker Borja, is it? It's whatever his name
Broja or
is.
something.
Yeah,
Broja, yeah.
Broja.
Yeah. So
Ambrosia.
that's more of an option to buy. But what I just read is just basically he's a season loan for Ramsdale. I didn't read there was an option after that.
What do you think of that, though?
I think it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Ramsdale. I mean, Rhea, for me, obviously, I called it after the game. He was man of the match, obviously, with that save. Personally, if Ollie Watkins would have scored that goal just before half time, that would have been a different story. It would have been a different story in that game. And Rhea doing that outstanding save. But I think it'd be good for Ipswich. I mean, I jumped on. I did a watch along with it. I was doing a watch along with the Yeti. So so we were just chatting about the game and that, and it was all right. But personally, in my opinion, I thought even though he scored the goal, Thomas Partey, I thought he was poor in the first half. To me, he didn't come alive until after 60 minutes after the hour after the game. I thought he was too slow in the first half. And I think he was getting run ragged. Oana, the Villa midfielder, I think Partey did have. I think Partey had a hard time marking him as well, getting into him. So
here's one for you, because also this is quite a lot of relevance in this one. James Lamper is asking to Jez, and we'll go to the Arsenal boards as well. What was the Trossard celebration about? He looked pissed off. Do you know why?
I think what he was doing. He was like, he scored a nice goal. I think he's going. Basically, I think he was dissing off the bench at Arteta to say, hey, I just come on 5 minutes, I've scored a goal. And he was like, hey, you don't disrespect me. That sort of attitude, if you get what I mean, it's like, hey, hello, look at me. I've done this numerous times. I've come on off the bench. I've scored a goal. Why aren't you starting me? It's that sort of attitude. I like that. Because that says to me, he's saying, up you lot.
It shows that he cares about his game for certain. Yeah.
So apparently Arteta did allude to that, Jez, that it was the fact that because he hasn't started, that was his way of kind of communicating, how he felt about the situation. Because I think, not being funny, I know Anthony's mentioned it a few times in the shows we do on a Wednesday, that Trossard should really start over Martinelli, especially considering how Martinelli's form has been of late. Trossard seems to be the more obvious choice. So, I mean, I agree with you, Jez. I mean, when you've got a play like that, and I've always said it to my boys when I used to manage, don't just be pissed off and that. Go out when you come on, when you time to go on that field, you go out there and do something. Prove to me, if they score a goal on that, you can come up to my face and stick two fingers in that, because I appreciate it more rather than bitching in the background when I can hear you fall on all the time. You do it on the field. That's how you answer it.
I can't believe what I've just seen.
What's that?
Cannot believe it. Fred, good old Fred, the former Red, scored his first ever career hat-trick with Galatasaray. Is it? No, not Galatasaray, with Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce. Jesus Christ.
Brilliant. Here's one from Paddy. Does anyone think that Ramsdale looks like Mark King from Level 42? Back in the day, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That must run in the family, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, best player of the field. Yeah, that's a good comment, actually. But Arsenal saying, but almost every time we start him, fans say he's not a good enough match. He's more effective from the bench, stuck between the rock and a hard place. It's true. Is he more? And that's the thing. Is he? Is he more of an impact sub than actually starting for 90 minutes?
Well, he started. I think our last sort of 10ish or so games last season. I think it was primarily being used as a sort of an impact sub, but I can remember him not doing too great at first, and then he was coming on making a bit of a difference, and then he started.
Yeah.
I can understand why he's a little bit pissed off, really, to be honest with you. I don't think the way he finished, like I said earlier, the way he finished the season last season, I don't think he deserved to be dropped.
No.
Or more importantly, I don't think Martinelli deserved to start.
No, it's true. That is true. Just before we carry on with that, good night, Henry. Off to bed. Good night, guys and girls.
Henry.
Enjoy the bank holiday, and the same for you as well, Henry. Yeah, that's a good comment. I mean, I'm assuming you used to play football yourself, Aaron, or you still play?
No, not anymore. Yeah, the knees are gone. Even though I'm only 34, they're shot to bits, kneeling on floor joists for the last 20 years.
Now we just call you Zoomer, but much easier. We just go.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it, any player basically, they don't like being dropped. You just want to play. Simple as that. And it must be harder at a Prem level, or Pro level, because you're being paid a wage, and some players are quite happy to sit on the bench, and get here. And from that, it's one of those. But for Trossard, no, I mean, fair play to him, and I wouldn't say it's a good move by Souček. It's just the player being in the right position at the right time. I'm not Souček. I mean, Arteta, we were playing Trossard. It's being the right player at the right time, being in the right position. Yeah. That's all it comes down to.
You obviously want to talk about Souček.
Well, yeah, Souček. I mean, when you look at that one, I mean, we know full well that he's more likely going to be on his way out. I think with I said with Guido and obviously Alvarez coming back from injury, his days numbered. Well, I mean, would you agree? Would you say on that one, Budgie?
Well, do you know something? I think Thomas Souček is quite a magnanimous type of person in the fact that if Lopetegui said to him, right, Thomas, now that I've got Guido and Edson in the middle, I'm going to bench you, but I'm going to need you.
Evening, Vic.
I'm going to need you to come on, in certain games. I'm going to need you to start certain games when I want to, I don't need so much of a defensive, line up. I'm still going to need you. I think Thomas Souček will be reasonably happy with that as long as he gets to wear that shirt and as long as he gets to stay a West Ham player for the moment. I don't think he'll mind too much being benched. And I think the same of Souček. Although, like you say, every player wants to play, but, they've got to play the team game as well. And they've been consistently starting for the last 3 seasons now. So it's now time for them to make way for some of these newer players. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the perfect example. He showed us yesterday exactly what he was about. And thank you for that, by the way, Fuzzy. I'm glad you helped us get that deal done over the line, and that was brilliant. Because I remember you were saying that he would be perfect for us about 5-6 weeks ago. And you were right. The way that guy applied himself yesterday, it's everything that we've been looking for in a right back. With a little bit of trickiness about him, but a solid defender, which is what Souček isn't. Souček can break down that line and he can get a good cross in. 3 out of 10 crosses from Souček are good enough to score from. So far, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has had an assist. and he stopped 2 really positive attacks from Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a good stat.
you know, yeah, that's exactly right, Lawrence. We haven't had this much depth, and
No,
like I said,
yeah.
we can field a completely different 11 on Wednesday, and it'll still be a recognisable West Ham.
Yeah, that's true. One for you there, Fuzz. How bad is Lenny Yoro's injury?
Probably not going to be back till October, November time.
Wow.
Pretty severe.
So, yeah, and well over like another month and a half as well.
What is it? He's cruciate or something?
Metatarsal.
Oh God!
It was first just like a small fracture. Well, it won't take long. Then it just went into a full blown broken metatarsal. I was like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? So yeah, I had to have surgery on it.
I'll tell you how that can happen, mate. Because it happened to a really good friend of mine. He was in a cast, and his son ran into him with his little plastic trike. Job done.
Wow.
He was out for 9 months because of that. He was absolutely destroyed, even though he had a cast on. It wasn't the actual impact that done it; it was the twist and everything else. Completely ruined him. You know?
I'll let you answer this one, Budgie, as well. Question: Thought on West Ham and who they can nick points off in away games.
Okay, well, my thoughts on West Ham is that we're moving in a positive direction. With the signings that we've made all of them have been very positive, and quite well received by the fan base, I must say. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We're moving forward slowly but surely. And what was the second part of that question, Tony? Sorry, I missed.
We go. So it's basically what teams can we can nick the points away in the away games.
Who can we nick points off? Well, I think there's the usual suspects. Obviously, the teams that have come up. I think Everton, probably Forest. I'm not so sure about Wolves. I'm thinking we might struggle against Wolves. Chelsea made it look very easy against them today for some reason. I don't know how, but they did. Well, they were just everywhere. Honestly, they were like a spider on a nest of flies. You know. They were brilliant. Chelsea were today. I really was impressed with them. But I think we could probably. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. We're talking about away points, aren't we? Yeah. I wouldn't be too surprised if we get a point at St James's. I wouldn't be surprised. But then equally, I wouldn't be surprised if we get stuck 5-0. But, it depends on what West Ham turn up on the day. And I find myself saying that again now after having been saying it for the last sort of 4 seasons. I'm saying it again, but because we're in a completely new era now, it's very difficult to say who we are going to get points from. But I think, like I said, the usual suspects. I've got a funny feeling we might do reasonably well against Man United away, but only because we've got a good history of doing so.
Yeah.
And maybe a point at Old Trafford. I'd be happy with a point at Old Trafford, I've got to be honest. Because Man United do seem to be picking up their game a bit more now, and they are looking a bit more of a threat. And that's rather unusual to say when you consider throughout history, Man United have always been the yardstick that everyone else is measured by. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think we're going to find very difficult to pick up points against the top 6 teams. But I think Tottenham, I think we'll probably pick points up at.
Well, I'm glad you left with that one, Budgie, because I'll say that to the Arsenal boys, because obviously the North London derby comes early this year, doesn't it?
Mm. Yeah.
So do you feel this is the perfect opportunity to get something out of that game?
Oh, mate. Spurs are looking not too bad. It's going to be a big ask. I think it's going to be a tricky one. We've got Spurs, then we've got Man City. Two tough games. I don't know, mate. It's an early game in the season, but not convinced yet. Spurs are going well, getting the results in. I'll give you my prediction. I reckon that's going to be a draw.
Wow. What'd you say, Anthony?
Guys, like what Jess said, we got 3 tough games coming up, and I got to be honest with you. I've been impressed with Brighton so far. I think they're going to do. I think they're going to do something this season. Brighton, they've got a couple of good players in, and and they get results out the bag. But regarding Spurs, I mean, I don't know how long Solanke's out injured for, but I look at that. I think we might creep it over the edge against Brighton, and I think that we could beat Tottenham. The only one that I'm iffy on is Man City, because I always said they've got a team A, a team B, and a team C, where they can jumble all their players up together, which makes Team C. So no matter what team Man City plays, they're a dominant force. So I thought we can beat Brighton, just scrape past Brighton, maybe scrape past Tottenham, but it's the Man City game that worries me.
What about you, Aaron? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do all right against Brighton. Like sort of what Anthony said. I don't think it's going to be as easy as last season. I think we'll do well to beat them, but I think we will. As opposed to the North London derby, I don't know. The last 2 seasons we've done all right there. I think what we're going to see a lot from Arsenal, in particular away from home against the big teams, is we're going to see a lot of the performance against Villa. We're probably going to see us defensively solid. Maybe it's not going to be the most pleasing on the eye, but I do sort of think, we're going to try and keep in the game, stay in the game, maybe half time, probably a 0-0, and see if we can just take our chances in the sort of second half, see if the other teams tire. I think we're going to be sort of seeing a lot of performances like that this season. Like I said, especially away from home. I think we'll be all right. The City game obviously is a real test, but it's actually quite nice because the last few seasons we've been playing these big teams at home first, and then obviously having the daunting away trip second half of the season. So it'd be nice to get them out of the way, and obviously hopefully we can accumulate some good points against them. Yeah,
because I think Arteta seems quite convinced now that after yesterday's performance. And when you think about it, I mean, 2-0, it was a great result for you guys against them because obviously that could have gone either way, that game. He's convinced now that any team that comes to you, or you go to them, it's going to be a breeze, basically. He's kind of summarised it like that. But I think it's well, I ain't going to say much. You already know the pattern the last couple of years, how it's gone for you guys. And as Jess said earlier, I think you're too short of getting it over the line. 2 players short, and I've already said this to Fuzzy and Anthony on our shows. It's getting them players over the line, and unfortunately, when you sign a player every 2 months, you haven't got much of a couple of days left until the season finishes, until the window finishes. So,
especially with this Jesus injury, we don't know the exact extent of how long he's out. And we've got to react to this now. If this isn't a kick up the backside, you can't expect us to go into all 4 competitions and only have Havertz up front. All right, Trossard can play there, but it's not good enough now.
No.
We need to sign someone. If this ain't a kick up the backside for him, I don't know what is.
True, because the funny part about that as well, when you think about it, is the fact that obviously we know that you now know the Nketiah deal's kind of fell flat in its arse, but he put on Nelson like yesterday, which
surprised him.
Yeah. There's no answer from that guy at all, really.
That says it all about our bench. Right? Says it all. Now, Arteta made the statement, right? He's going to use players that are training.
Big up, Brian, CFC.
Training with the youth team. The first team, right? They're training. Why didn't they bring on Enweri? He looked good. He looked good in the pre-season games over in America. So why didn't he bring him on? It's all bullshit from this manager. It's bullshit. Why did you not bring him on and instead of Reece Nelson? Because Reece Nelson, I'm sorry, he's done and dusted at this club. He's not the levels. He ain't good enough, right? So why are you bothering? Why are you not playing the youth? You said it, Arteta. You said it. They're training with the first team. I'm going to use them more. Why did you do it then? 2-0 up at Villa Park. No, you brought on Reece Nelson. That says to me, guys, the bench is weak. Right? We are weak on the bench. And you're thinking everybody's going gassing it up. Oh, yeah, it's another Premier League coming this year and the Champions League and God knows what else. Wake up, people. Wake up. It ain't happening. This guy is a bloody fraud.
It ain't impossible, mate, though. It ain't impossible. I mean, look, West Ham won the Conference League unbeaten with 16 players rotated around. And that's including all the Premier League games and domestic cup games we played as well. We used, I think it was 19 players throughout the season.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Budgie, no disrespect to West Ham whatsoever. Right? The Conference League's a little bit different to the Champions League. When you're playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, don't forget it's a whole new format this year.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no group stages. You're straight in, and it's top four against how it works. It's a totally different situation. I don't believe we've got the bench to do it, Budgie.
No,
I don't believe it, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a few comments there. I mean, obviously, Eros is here. Where the hell is Tommy Yesel as well? He and Jesus are born injured. Agree with this one from usual suspect. Watkins had an absolute nightmare of a game against Arsenal. He didn't look good in the game before either, really. And Steve is Steve's saying, whatever happened to Balogun? Thought he was the next big thing. He was sold on, wasn't he? He left.
Coutinho's gone, £1 million.
Yeah.
He was the next big thing. And we binned him off.
And
That
just
was
before.
too cheap, yes. That was too cheap. 1 million for him.
Why
I thought he would have gone for about 4 million, 4 maybe 5.
And Anthony, just kind of please you a little bit more before I go on with Ravi's comment on that. I've just seen another thing that possibly it seems it's not far off that West Ham are going to loan option to buy for Solar. So that's another player coming in. So that'd be number 10 for us.
That's the one.
But if you look at it though, Anthony, at least you've signed a couple of players compared to Liverpool. As Ravi's saying here, God only knows when we will get any players in. I thought we might regret that when we have a tough time in the Champions League.
Well, I said earlier, I think Liverpool are 2 or 3 players short. I mean, they've sold a few players, but yeah, it's like what you said, they haven't bought anybody in. They've had an easy run so far. I still think that game was 4 against Ipswich, that scoreline. So I think if they want to keep up to get to that, top 4, I think they need to sign a couple of more players at least. Because I don't think Arne Slot is the right man. I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I've been seeing, Liverpool been playing, I mean, okay, Brentford 2-0, I get that, but Ipswich, no, I thought that was poor on their behalf.
I agree. I don't think Arne Slot's the right man, but he has got a good reputation with bringing on youth players.
Yeah.
So,
maybe that's why
that could be part of his plan for this season.
Well, that could be the reason why Liverpool she's given the job, because obviously Klopp did that with these players, didn't he? And he let the youth team play. So maybe that's the reason why they got Slot in there and that. Possibly
Can I also just throw this into the mix, right? We're talking about Arsenal, right? the bench is pretty much the bloody same as it was last season.
Yeah.
How has it improved? How has it changed?
No. Well,
Well,
Yeah.
hey, we brought in
look,
under 21 England international goalkeeper. How many times are we going to see him play?
yeah, that's the thing, Jez, isn't it? That's
Right,
true.
before he's Ajax, all right, we might see him play in the Carrier Bag Cup. Fair enough. Okay, good luck. Now, if let's all get it right. When we used to have a certain manager, Arsene Wenger, he used to play the youth in the League Cup, right? And he stuck with them. Let's not forget what happened at Birmingham in the cup final.
Yeah.
Right? He stuck with them. And he respected them and he gave them the go. He had a few seasoned players on the bench. Sadly, he brought them on too late and it cost us that. But I respect the man for what he did because he stuck with the players all the way through that competition. But
And rightfully so.
when have you ever seen Arteta use the youth?
Well, look at last season, Jez. You had the opportunity to do that in the cup games, and you never did. You kept to a strong bench. Liverpool, Klopp wasn't afraid to do that.
Yeah,
saw
and look,
I told you, Jess.
Yeah.
I told you. Arteta is no good. He cannot spot talent if it hit him in the face. He just can't. He'd rather buy the talent in. Then, I mean, you look at Pep. He's buying all these players in for like 35, 40 million. He's interested in a striker, a Japan international that plays for Celtic, you know. But with that sort of player, what he wants, he'll link up well with that and he'll gel with that system. Pep will get the best out of him. We haven't got that in Mikel Arteta. So but this is the reason why. And it's like what I've always said it before. I was Arsene Wenger. I thought his time come when we didn't win nothing for almost a decade, 10 years. But I tell you what, in all fairness, we won't get another manager like that again that can spot talent, bring it in for 2 mil and sell it for about 30 mil. You just won't get it.
Well, look what Michael Chelsea says there. You know, Robbie Lyle said Arsenal have a ridiculously strong bench.
how many game changes? Right, I can name you 1 or 2. Right, game changers that can come off the Arsenal bench.
Trossard.
There you go. Yeah. Who else? Who else can you think of?
Probably Jesus, but he's never fit.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, that's it. That's about it. And Wary, we don't know enough about him. I've seen him pre-season. He looked good to me. But pre-season is totally different to playing in the Premier League. Right? So, I want to see that guy play. What I saw of him, he looked good. At least give him 20 minutes. Give him 20 minutes. Let him come on and give him 20 minutes. And let him get into the Premier League. Let him get in the atmosphere. I guarantee you, right, Arteta won't do it.
No.
Money on it.
Yeah, Vic's saying there, look, his name is Robbie Lyle for a reason. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. James Lamprey saying, to the Arsenal boys, do you think Arteta would target any cups or concentrating on winning the league?
He'll throw the cups in the bin as he always does.
Yeah.
Simple.
He'll concentrate on the league, but we won't win it. We just won't win it. We can't compete with the dominant force of Man City. We just can't.
And he'll
And I mean, look
concentrate
at their
on
new player
following the
who
league.
signed this season, that Brazilian. He's going to come on leaps and bounds. You know, fantastic player. I mean, Doku, he didn't play bad, you know, against Ipswich from the highlights I've seen on Match of the Day last night. So he's an upcoming player. So, you know, and they're on about bringing in more players now. So if that's the case, I could see a certain Jack Grealish leaving Man City, or I don't know where he's going to go to, maybe back to Villa or whoever wants the money. We've got 50, 60 million for him. But it's like what I said. He's good at spotting the talent, and he would bring these young players in. It's a fact.
True. I mean, like, you know, the two good comments here. So Michael Chelsea saying, how can anyone with a straight face say that Arteta is a better manager than Unai Emery? It's ridiculous. Come on.
True.
CV sees it all team. He's won 8 European, what was it?
4 European
Leagues. Europa League, he's won 8 of them. That's enough said. And we bombed him out. If he was the manager last season, the season before, I guarantee you, we would have won the Premier League by now. I know you know Emery.
Yep, guaranteed.
But James says, "Come on, guys! 10 out of 10 transfer window, bench complete, all rosy at the Arsenal."
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
Question from Ian Budge: do you think Willie Young should have been sent off for the tackle from behind on Paul Allen? Yes, in my opinion.
No.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. That's over 50-50 on that, by the sounds of it. Fuzzy, how much involvement will Ruud have being on the coaching staff? For me, his knowledge is invaluable. Everything else should get him involved as much as possible.
Well, I think Ruud is essentially serving as the number 2 out of the management staff, and that's the thing with Ruud Van Nistelrooy being there, is that he's essentially not somebody who's got coaching badges and he's there to be just the assistant manager or anything like that. He's actually a first team manager that's been brought in to be part of the assistant management setup. I think it's written all over, like the writing's on the wall, that he is the next manager to take over from Ten Hag should he be sacked. And I think there's going to be an interesting dynamic that I think over time might show itself a little bit if pressure just continues to increase on the manager. That if there's just more and more noise around Ruud van Nistelrooy, or if the focus starts switching to him. And I think there may be a bit of a feeling with the players that he's probably going to be the next boss, but I think
Man United should know better than anyone that an ex-club legend doesn't necessarily make a great manager. I mean, like, Solskjaer wasn't terribly terrible, but he weren't great either. You know? You know, look at Frank Lampard going to Chelsea, complete disaster. You know, I don't think Liverpool would even on that basis. That's why Liverpool would never entertain Gerrard as their manager. Not for at least 5 years until he's got, you know, he's got some hurt under his belt. You know.
Yeah, because he's not going well out of the Saudi for him, is that's for sure. Another one from Budgie, Tony Budgie. Do you think Steinen will surprise us with a signing like he did with Kudos before the window shuts in the form of a surprise striker signing? Would not be a surprise myself. What do you think on that, Budge?
Well, we know how keen he is on picking a little, you know, pearl out of the sea. We know he loves to do it. I wouldn't be 100% surprised. No, I wouldn't. In fact, I'd be disappointed if he don't. I've got to be honest, because you know, like we get all this. Like, listen, lads, I don't know if you're aware, but we were linked with over 150 players in this window. Actual bona fide links, like according to, you know, sources. 150 players. All right, okay, we picked up 10 of them, but 2 of those we weren't even really linked to. Steiden went out and got them on the QT, you know. Like
Tadibo
weren't even chatted about until 3 days before it happened.
Yeah. Well, look at that. I mean, as soon as we realised that the Juventus deal was going to collapse, he was on that plane before you knew it.
Yeah, we were excited about that Juventus deal collapsing because we said, you know, we'd actually already shown interest, but there was nothing on the table really, to be fair. And as soon as that Juventus news came through, like you say, Tim was taking off from Hendon Airport, and that was a lot, mate. He was out there. Tugging on the man's elbow. Hey, look, I've got a private jet over here. Come and have a little ride.
It's true. Emery, I don't believe had huge backing from the board at ownership compared to what Arteta has been given in comparison. Yeah, I think all the Arsenal boys can definitely agree on that one. That's for sure.
Yeah. But look what he's done with the investment he has been given, though, Emery.
Yeah, that's true. He has done something with it compared to.
He's kind of said to the entire Premier League that, you know, Arsenal were too hasty in their decision. That's what he's basically saying.
It's a fair comment.
I'm a better manager than you lot gave me credit for.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he was 17th when he took over at Aston Villa. In 2 years, he's got them playing Champions League football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Julian Lopetegui did to Sevilla. Within 18 months, he had them winning the Europa League.
Wow. One for you here, Matt. When fit, who starts in Bournemouth's defence and who misses out?
Yeah, good question. Because we're blessed with some good defenders after this transfer window. So, yeah, in terms of who would start, I would say probably the strongest centre-back pairing would be Marcus Senesi and the Ukrainian international Tabanier. Left back would be Kirkez, who played in the Euros with Hungary. Good player, feisty little player. Right back, obviously we've signed the new kiddie from Barcelona. He made his first start today. He's a good player. But for me, I'd probably go with Smithy. And the likes of people like Chris Mepham, Max Aarons, they're the types of players that would unfortunately miss out. But yeah, we're pretty blessed for defenders at the minute. So
nice.
And also we've got Dean Hewson, who had an awesome game at Forest last week. He's a really good player. You'll probably see him play against you lot probably on Wednesday. He's a decent player. But yeah, I'd say those four are probably the ones for now, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Aaron, I see you kind of had a little smile on your face when you saw this comment on there. It must, as an Arsenal fan, it must pain sometimes hearing the same comment, you know, week after week, season after season.
Yeah, well, he throws them away, doesn't he, Arteta? If history is to go by, you know, he really does throw the vast majority of competitions away. Even when he was in the Europa League, he couldn't even get past Villarreal. I think Olympiacos he screwed up in. One season we didn't even qualify. And the FA, especially the Carabao Cup, you know, I know it's not really the best cup you can win, but I'd even take that. He literally just throws it away, you know. I know you give us a right old tonkin. Who
knocked you out of that last year?
Yeah, just literally saying, yeah, you give us a right old tonkin. Was it 3-1? Was it? I think. Yeah, like that, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, what could have
squeeze that one in?
Yeah, and we've done 2-0 in the league as well, though.
Serious, lots in. If you look at that one, Aaron, I think the icing on the cake was actually was Rice in that one. You know, that was quite ironic in that respect. But look, you know, you got your fair dues at the London Stadium, and Fuzzy's quite happy to put that picture up in the background when you see us leaving in our droves.
Yeah. I think at 40 odd minutes, I think there's barely anyone in there, was there? An echo around them.
What happened in the FA Cup team?
I don't know, mate. Don't know. I think I was sleeping that night. I think I was definitely sleeping, that's for sure.
West Ham got knocked out by a championship team.
2.5 drive. Oh, bloody hell, Pepsi. 2.5 hours drive home begins. Keep streaming to 1 a.m, please. Just keep me awake. Hey, be careful, Pepsi. Yeah, safe journey back home, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, make sure of that. Drink Pepsi always. Yeah, look. Robbie Lowell, we have bigger fish to fry. That aged well. Jesus, yeah, that comment.
Just talking about his seafood endeavours. That's all. It's used to frying small fish.
Rabbi's asking the question on Arsenal. Do teams fear going to the Emirates?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Always. Especially if Eddie Nketiah's playing. Definitely.
You can see the players shaking in the tunnel when they see Eddie lining up in there, can't you? Yeah.
Oh,
The defenders just
definitely.
wobbly.
Definitely, especially the goalkeeper. He thinks, "Oh, fucking hell, I've got to play against Eddie Nketiah. I'm going to have a nightmare of a game."
Well, watch out for Top Gooners if there's ever a time during like December and there's a kickoff at the Emirates Stadium and it's a picture or a video in the tunnel and you see some players shivering on the other team because it's like really cold. Top Gooners will be out there saying, "Oh my God, they're shaking in our aura. Oh, the aura that's quaking in their timbers."
Or at FC.
Yeah, look. I'm guessing
Best
Arsenal
looking
released
team.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
Succulent aura.
Jesus. I'm guessing Arsenal have released a Jamaican style collection after seeing Robbie on AFTV yesterday. Oh, wow. Eddie, cult hero in Ketia. Jesus. Good evening, Des. Big Des Reynolds. Big up Tony in the panel. When does Carsley announce his team? Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
God, I don't know.
I wish
Is it
never.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, I think it is.
I think it's Wednesday, yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that one.
He was watching the Villa Arsenal game, wasn't he, yesterday?
Arsenal game, he was there. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he looked really impressed by when the camera's on his face, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt, absolutely. At the moment, for me, it's the goal of the Premier League so far this season. I know there's
Do
only
you
been
reckon
2
it's a
weeks.
yes, man?
Oh, mate, it was such a good goal. The ball out from the keeper to Nicholas Jackson, who clipped the ball over a defender into Cole Palmer's path. And he hits it first time, lobs the keeper. It's beautiful. Absolutely. He lobbed the keeper with pace, you know. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely goal. You should look it up on YouTube later, boy.
I'll have a look at that later on. I mean, going by what you're just saying, Anthony, and that I'd say, yeah, he definitely is a yes man. Lee Carsley.
Yes, man.
He's got the most yes man name ever. Lee Carsley.
Yeah, I think we're just going to, you're going to see just literally 2.0 of Southgate, basically.
Yeah,
definitely.
Instead of waistcoats, could be wearing strap braces. Or maybe you can.
Even though Carsley was, who did he play for? Everton.
Yeah.
He was never a world beater, was he?
Nah.
You know what I mean? I don't even remember him getting into the England squad. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I ain't really got very high hopes for him.
Yeah, it don't look good. Doesn't look
Maybe
good
he can be a unique England manager. Instead of wearing waistcoats, he can wear cummerbunds on match days.
Some spats on his shoes.
Yeah.
Man.
And a trilby hat.
Instead of suit trousers, he can wear suit shorts.
Yeah.
Vic's asking the question there. Did we really move to the Emirates to compete like this in each and every transfer window? God, that's a great show.
Yeah, well, you have to ask that question, don't you? Jeez. You know what I'm saying?
Moved to the Emirates for the owners to compete financially.
You know what I'm saying? We were sold a lie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Pepsi saying, I've done better on my match predictions this week. I actually got one correct. That's 1 out of 20 so far. That's how predicted we do on a Wednesday night. You look meaner than Southgate. Yeah. Good evening, Exponential Anger. Evening, gentlemen. How happy are we, Hammers, right now? Definitely happy, mate. Definitely happy.
Definitely.
With that result, especially
I'm
against
happy hammered.
Happy hammered.
Hammered by seagulls.
He played for Birmingham City as well, apparently, Paddy reckons.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, Ace is saying Lee Carsley is a tracksuit manager. That's true. Castle's got badges, so have I though. Stitching, map reading, and crap football. It's going to be Jellyfish
Yeah.
Potter for the permanent England job, in my opinion. Oh, imagine that one. Ah,
Not.
evening, Peter. Lee Castle paid for Republic of Ireland, not England. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, he did.
that's why I don't remember seeing him in the England squad then.
Oh.
Thanks for that, Peter. Thanks for clearing that one up.
Thank you, Peter.
The weekend big games in Premier League. There is indeed. Yeah, there is indeed. Yeah, we've got
He
an
must
easy
be
one. haven't
feeling that
we?
Lee Carsley not getting offered
Yeah.
the Republic of Ireland job.
We got those donkeys, haven't we, this weekend?
Yeah, slow as fuck, and all of a sudden they can't score for toffee.
No. They got that crap centre forward who didn't really get me 51 points this week. Honestly, he didn't.
Right,
Fuzzy,
guys, bounce. I haven't eaten yet. I'm bloody starving.
go and enjoy that fish, Jez. I'm quite envious because I do like them myself for the old mackerel. So enjoy that.
Have you got mackerel?
Jez, before you go, mate, shake your channel out as always, please, and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, it's Arsenal history and more, guys. Thanks for having me on as always, Tony, Fuzzy, Anthony, Aaron, Matt. Good to meet you. First time ever. Budgie, as always, legend. Catch you boys all later. Yep. I've got to go and gut the bloody thing yet. So,
Nice.
Yeah. 11 o'clock supper, is it, Jez?
sorry?
11
What?
o'clock supper, is it?
And catch you lovely men again another day. Be up the chat as always the real ones in the chat, of course. And see you all soon, boys. Take care. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay,
See you,
mate.
Jez. Have a nice one.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take care,
Ta-ra,
Jess.
mate.
Yeah.
Fuzzy, thoughts on how United can beat Liverpool with Liverpool's more possession-based style with Slot?
Step one, pick the right team. you put two and
Cheers,
two
Eros.
together. Put 2 and 2 together, Tenarg, if you can. Twice this season already, your starting 11's not worked. Twice this season, your bench players have had more impact when they've come off the bench. Might be an idea to start these bench players and play a more mobile team and maybe bench the players that don't really want to perform, like, I don't know, Marcus Rashford. The guy who was offside pretty much 99% of the game as well against Brighton, which it's not great reading. Like 4 goals and assists in the last 16 Premier League appearances. Meanwhile, you've got Cole Palmer getting 4 in one game. I mean, there's levels to this, right?
What's happening with Mason Mount at the moment, Fuzz?
Oh, this is his redemption arc season. This one,
The redemption.
according to the top Reds. I mean, I'm still baffled as to the biggest PR disaster in modern football history. That Mason Mount leaves Chelsea, goes to United, and everyone's going, woohoo! The best thing to ever happen to Man United ever since winning the Premier League, it would seem, signing Mason Mount and then giving him the number 7 shirt. Been fantastic, but
He's got to do something this year, hasn't he?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Most of the players have got to do something this season. Luke Shaw's another one. People weren't thinking, oh, well, Luke Shaw can stay as long as he gets back fit again and everything. But I'm just like, bro, by the time, looking at his age now, he's not only been at this club for now, a decade, 10 years now. He's been at this club for 10 years since moving from Southampton. He's now become injury prone. And at his stage of his career, you don't necessarily suddenly stop getting injury prone at this level. You just sort of get a bit more fortunate, a bit less fortunate, dependent on how it is your body's holding up throughout the seasons as they go by. But Luke Shaw, I mean, yeah, I think it's one of those where he's seemingly outlasted everybody. He's been touted that he's been a problem in the dressing room with cliques and attitude problems. He's had spats with multiple managers. Yeah, and I think overstaying is welcome, and I think that's probably going to be the focus now on the players that need to go. It's who here has overstayed their welcome. It's been here too long.
Well, just to go on that, Michael Chelsea saying Mount has the minerals, don't write him off yet. He's saying Fuzzy. So we'll see if he can change that. But like you said, it's his redemption year. But Aces is saying Southgate is only a matter of time. Do you believe that's still the case?
Nope. Because like I said with Ruud van Nistelrooy, it's way cheaper recruitment from within than signing a manager on. A lot cheaper.
That's fair enough.
What about a return of Moyes?
If we were a championship club, maybe. I mean, if we do something really, really special, like I don't know, bloody drunken Friday night kebab special, give you the shits, and Man United comes out the other end, then yeah, maybe we'll end up with Moyes as our manager. Marcus Rashford would still be, well, actually, no, he'd be club captain at that point. Everybody else with a brain would have left.
What about Gary Neville?
Oh, what a shout out.
What's that?
To be fair, he might
Gary Neville was manager.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Christ.
You imagine that, and his number 2 would be old Carragher. God, imagine that.
Either that or just do your job.
Roy Keane would have more interest punching half of these players in the face than actually just featuring on the touchline.
Could you imagine him in the dugout at Man United right now? Honestly, you be seeing players not just walking on from the subs, he'd be throwing them onto the pitch. Get out there and do your job.
You ever get to a point where a player just starts walking off the pitch when you're losing like 2-1 or something, and it's a ball going down the Stretford end, and it's like 5 minutes to go. Now a player starts walking off, and it's just like, all right then. Roy Keane would be the sort of guy to run onto the pitch, clothesline him, do a Joel Linton, and then drag him off by his ankles, and literally just drag him down straight down the tunnel, back into the back of a windowless white van. And you'll never hear of that player again.
With Cantona maybe as his assistant managers flying kicking everyone.
Oh, you imagine that as well.
What a team.
I just imagine that.
Now Cantona would be sat down the tunnel waiting for Roy to bring the next victim in with his baseball bat.
Mind you, Fuzzy, you've just said something there, because I just imagine there, in WWE now, they're going to use a new terminology in that, not going to be a pole driver. You just give him a Joel Linton, basically. You're going to use that from there on.
Give him an Anana. Give him the entree Anana.
And Anana as well, yeah.
The Superman punch from Anana. Got the Joel Linton clothesline from hell. I mean, Jesus, all you need now.
Wow.
What was it? There's I'm trying to remember who it was. It was what's his face? The Venezuelan striker. Who almost had him in a tombstone, an opponent in a tombstone, but stopped him from falling on his neck. Rondon, Solomon Rondon. I think it was when he was at West Brom.
Oh yeah. He
had that scuffle with a player and almost dropped him on his head like the Undertaker.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's just like, don't worry. I'm joking. I'm not going to do you like Prime Undertaker, like I've got a streak to preserve.
Trying to pin him afterwards and everything, was it? Yeah,
yes, right, it was. Jess has gone off sheet, but Anthony, if he's in the background there, and Aaron, this is an hard one for you. Do you think Arsenal actually signed someone at the end of the window?
Well, it depends what year you're talking about, really, I suppose, isn't it?
This is true. Yeah.
Signed a couple of women.
Yeah.
Haven't they? Arsenal have signed a couple of decent women for their team.
Probably end up signing another bloody dog or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we will get that Mourinho thing over the line. God knows, how that's dragged on for so long. But but obviously I'm sure Eros is more asking anyone else after that. I mean, they've got to react to this Gabriel Jesus thing. He's a liability. You can't go through this season and just having habits. I mean,
Yeah.
you see yesterday he was massively anonymous, and there's no game changers on that bench. You know, you're facing some big teams. If you want to go deep in all these competitions, you need to have all your players fit. You need to have options. You need to have, different answers to different questions and against different teams. And you can't just expect Havertz to do the business in 50, 60 games,
Well, I'll tell you what, is you could hijack Napoli's deal for McTominay. He's the sort of
we don't want any more.
Throw your Scottish kitchen sink up top.
Yeah.
Go stand in the box, Scott.
After Sylvester and Danny Welbeck, you're all right, mate. You can keep your players, mate. You're all good there.
You can have Danny.
Look at a grin on it because he knows he had RVP.
Even a Henrik Mkhitaryan goes from being Bundesliga Player of the Year with Dortmund, comes to United, drops a couple levels, goes to Arsenal, drops all the levels.
Yeah.
Same with Alexis Sanchez, vice versa.
Yeah. Peter saying, take it or return to Everton with his bin liner full of toffees. God, you imagine that one. That probably wouldn't be a bad shout. But is he the coach on, is it with FA now or something? Oh, Moisey? He's joined some coaching thing he's gone on there. Anyway, trying to think what it was. But moving on from that, Ravi saying, Matt, question, what's the atmosphere like at your stadium when Liverpool and a City, Arsenal, United come to play?
Yeah, I mean, we raised the game. Obviously, as you all know, we've got the tiniest stadium in the world's best league. But we raise our game. I mean, it's a great atmosphere at the ground anyway, especially since our American owners have come in. They've really enhanced the matchday experience as well. For all fans, hospitality, travelling fans. But in terms of us in the terraces, we definitely build up the atmosphere a little bit extra for those bigger sides, just to give the lads some encouragement. But yeah, overall, it's a good experience at Dean Court, to be honest.
Oh, nice, mate. Nice. Just going on the last comments on that, and just to let people know, that tomorrow I've got a spotlight show where I'm going to have a question with a Spurs fan, Jose from LTL Cockerell, great guy in that, so that should be quite an interesting one. As usual, my co-host Anthony and Fuzzy on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then following on that next Sunday, he'll be back with the Sunday Night Takeaway show, and then on Monday, the 2nd of September. I do have young Terence from what was the Claude and the Bansters, where I'll be asking him questions, and no doubt there'll be a lot of people in there asking him some weird and wonderful ones, so that should be interesting. And last question before we start wrapping it up is from Peter Chelmsford. It's a question to the Arsenal fan. If you don't win anything this season, do you think Arteta should be sacked?
Yes, 100%. No Silva, no job. Get out. Done. You've had your time, had your money, had your trust, had everything else. There's no more waiting then. You bottled top four, you bottled the first league title challenge. You didn't win it last year. If you don't win anything this season, I'm sorry, there's no going back. You clearly then can't get over the line. It's as simple as that. No more trust, no more money, no more anything. Get out. Out you go. Simple.
Do you reckon somebody at the club?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I reckon Edu out, Arteta out, and when you're at it, take your fucking dog with you.
Yeah.
Do you reckon, right? Somebody at Arsenal is just sort of like, where somebody takes things just way too literally, right? And somebody says, at Arsenal, you need to win silverware. And somebody's gone, silver? Second place it is then.
Oh, the dig there, the dig. Oh, that came in sharp.
Don't sack them.
Worked it out.
That came in sharp, that one there. Wow.
That was quality.
Just going to go there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bloody hell. I mean, I saw this as well. Matt saying, just seen Liverpool's first goal versus Brentford. What a break. So, yeah, I mean, considering it was their corner, Brentford's, and it's gone from one end to the other, and what a goal from Diaz. I mean, you definitely put that away.
That's one of the things that made Cole Palmer's goal so good, though, the speed of it all.
Yes, yeah, that's true. But yeah, Pepsi. Apparently, Warren's team talk is coming for Terry. Yeah, and I think Diesel as well. I think Diesel will be in there as well to have his penny foof. Daz, tell me his predictions this week, please. Normally on a Wednesday will be Daz. If there's any changes, it'll be on the community page anyway. You'll be able to see it on there. Spurs will have another season without winning something. Yep, it's another layer of dust to go on them shelves, Peter. It'll be quite interesting to see. And at least Arsenal's dog Win isn't a Labrapoodle. Now. And last but not least, as we're going to go ourselves out, we're going to get the panel to start shouting themselves out. So Matt's asking, wrong one. It's James actually saying, Matt, what's your Bournemouth channel? So if you'd like to shout yourself out, please say what you've got coming up on your channel.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. It's called UTCID. It stands for Up the Cherries in All Departments. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. And we do weekly match previews. We've got a weekly podcast called Cherry Picking. We have celebrity guests on. We've had Craig gets all sorts of different musicians on to do like fans of clubs to do match previews with. We've also had lots of past and present Bournemouth players on the show as well. Craig's favourite name drop is Harry Redknapp. He's quite a regular on the channel. So, yeah, it's Up the Cherries in all departments. And, yeah, best place to catch us actually is probably YouTube's the best place. But we're on pretty much everything.
And all I'll say is that thanks for your first one on here. Hopefully one of many. Been a pleasure having you on here, Matt.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us on. It's been great.
No problems at all in there. Fuzzy, if you'd like to share what you've got coming up, please.
Several therapy sessions. Just in preparation for next weekend because Liverpool coming to Old Trafford. And do you know what the funny thing is that even though Liverpool might be feeling the high at the moment, there's quite possible that the next away game at Old Trafford, if Ten Hag gets the team selections right, United might turn up against Liverpool and get a result there. Like, it's possible. Like, things like that can happen. I mean, last season we beat them 4-3. With loads of fringe players.
What was the score the other season?
That was 4-3 as the FA Cup.
What was the 7-0 one? Was that the season before, was it?
Yeah, that was the season before. That was at Anfield as well. So it's one of those things where they always think, oh, we'll win 7-0 again, and then it never happens. And then they lose, and then they start crying again.
I like Aaron's style there, Fuzz. You know what he's done there, didn't you? He's got one back on you there. You know, that's the old touche move gone on there.
It despite we could lose 7-0 to Liverpool every time and still end up with winning trophies.
You'll have 7 therapy sessions then, wouldn't you?
Yeah. still doing just some little things like if I can find it, just a couple little things. See if it loads properly. Okay, just a couple of celebrations at the end of the season, a couple of parades, a couple of parties, and all that stuff, and plus my StreamYard crashing as per usual when we get a virtual background there, so I'll take that off. But yes, you can find all of my stuff on Hotfuzz 44 AG. Of course, expected on Wednesday as well with the good, the bad, and the ugly. I did make a request with my match reaction that I be clipped out of the thumbnail and just stick Ten Hag in there. See, as the ugliest bastard in the entire country on the Saturday afternoon with that management performance. So, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But aside from that, hopefully Ugarte comes in, McTominay gets out the door, some other players leave, and got some shows and some content to put out reacting to those things.
Brilliant. Peter's asking though, when did Ten Hag last have an eye test?
Never. There's no evidence that he's ever had any eyes tests.
Steve say fuzzy shout-outs like Stevie Wonder's accepted species.
I don't quite have the glasses for it, unfortunately.
Oh, well, here's
only will have to do.
Yeah. Pepsi's asking, has Fuzzy got any Seagull t-shirts? Well, if Anthony puts himself back on the screen,
yeah, he's got a seagull on his t-shirt.
It's quite ironic that he's actually wearing one himself.
Cheeky bastard on his combine or overstar.
Budgie, you'd like to shout yourself out and what you've got coming up as well, please.
Yeah, lovely, thanks. Well, I've got obviously my channel, Green Street Elite. Going to start putting out a lot more content back out onto that as well. Also, the Old School Hammers on Wednesday nights on West Ham Network. I won't be there this week because I'm on holiday, but next Wednesday I'll be back. I'm not sure if anything's going out on Wednesday night, so I haven't spoken to the powers that be yet. Yeah, and yeah, you can catch me on Facebook and all them sort of places as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, mate. There's another question here as well for you, Fuzz. Would you sell Rashford, and how much do you think he'll cost?
I'd sell Rashford. Well, I mean, the club, I think, rumoured to want £80 million for him, but I'd let him go for near peanuts. I think probably about 40, 50. Even that's a bit of a stretch. How useless he is on the football pitch at the moment. Maybe a transfer before the transfer deadline day to 10 Downing Street. I hear there's help needed there.
Yeah, that's not good at all. That's a different debate.
Yeah, mate, but that's the help that nobody can give.
Yeah, this is very true. Very true. Well, Anthony's either having a shit or he's doing something, but
Yeah,
for the first time being on,
what a guess.
Could be if you can hear in the background, then you know where he is basically. But it's also a first for Aaron as well onto the channel, and pleasure having you on, Aaron. It's been you've talked some sense more than some of us on here, put it that way. So it's good to have you on here, matey. Do you have a channel, or where do we find you?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Arsenal X Rated. I'm in the middle of making a channel, but it's not ready just sort of yet. You know, it'll be up and coming, but I've just thought I'd go on a few little channels first. You know what I mean, and see if I sort of like it. You know what I mean, see if it's for me before I really commit to anything. You know, but no, thank you very much for having me on. I've really enjoyed it, mate. Appreciate it.
Mate. And I like the little dig there. You know, the small channels in that. Thanks, mate.
Oh no, not like that. Yeah, no, not like that. Yeah,
I'm joking, mate. I'm joking anyway. Mark was saying, past 3 hours, big up the panel, amazing guys. Yes, indeed. Thanks very much, Michael, and thanks for him for always doing something. Yeah, he is doing something. That's right. Rashford's football went downhill when he got involved with other stuff, even though he did a good job with meals for kids. Absolutely. And I think that's what I think he's still sitting on at the moment. Is that one? Isn't 10 Downing Street organising the cat's last will?
I heard that Kurt Zuma is on the blacklist for the funeral.
Absolutely.
Make sure he's not there. Don't let him come.
And yeah, Michael Chessie, you know, absolutely. The chat is always elite. And yes, we heavily rely on the good old comments from the chat. And, you know, without them, it doesn't make the show, basically. So a pleasure, as always, having the people in the chat saying their things. And last but not least, Steve Cox with the last thing. Geez, that 3 hours went quick again. Is McDonald's open yet?
Still open.
Got to find that 24 hours one, Steve. You'll be fine. But as always, people in the panel, thanks very much for being with us. And for the two new guys, Nat, brilliant having you on board. Hopefully, one of many, as I said to you, and that. And as always, the chat. Thank you guys for hanging around with us and that. We really appreciate you being in here, and we love the comments as always. So last but not least, we're basically done. 3 hours and coming up to nearly 4 minutes. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care for now.
Cheers.
Thanks, Don.
Cheers.